Prophet Marshall Occurrence. So this is going to be a continuation of fasting and giving offerings against America. Because see, once I felt the resistance, once I see the resistance, man, to this message, and it's more than one person. It's not one person. It's more than one person. When I see slight resistance, man, and people don't respond. Some people do, some people don't. They don't respond to giving. I'm gonna keep harping on it because I don't see what really provoked me more than anything else. I don't see nobody else talk about it, and we in war, right? So I'm wondering what they're doing. I mean, how you getting it done? This is how it gets done. I'm telling you as a veteran, man, this is how it gets done. At 26 years old, 25 years old actually. At 25 years old, I was making $1,000 transactions to churches. At 25. That's the true prime, 25. 25 years old, I was giving $1,000 at a time. And I was only making $7 an hour. So if you don't think it's possible to give over $1,000, I'm a testimony you can do it. On $7 an hour. I was only making $7 an hour. And I took $1,000 and brought it to God's work. I've been at this for a long time, as you can see. That was back in 2006, 20 years ago. Going on 20 years ago next month. Next year gonna be 20 years. I've been giving over $1,000. That happened the first time 20 years ago. Next year gonna be 20 years ago. This year is 19 years, going on 19 years since I gave over $1,000. You see where we at, right? So by the time I had a real war, I already had a harvest stored up like a storehouse, like a warehouse. That's why God defended me fiercely, man, because I had already been doing this for a long time. Now that everybody kind of see what I'm doing, because they're paying attention. Now let me take you back in time to where I was like 18 years old when I gave my first offering. 18, I was still a teenager doing this. This is why God fiercely is defending me, man. Because I've been fasting and giving offerings from the time I was 18 years old. Real fasting at 18. No, not playing around. No, spiritual fasting. This is why you're in trouble. Because see, you underestimated how long I've been doing this. You didn't think that even mattered. You didn't even pay attention to that. Okay, so if I'm 44 years old, you do the math, buddy. I've been fasting and giving offerings since I was 18 years old. So, for spiritual people, you already know that I had a harvest already stored up for this war. Basically, God had already formed a military around me. A spiritual military. So By the time I went to war, my military was already built. My military base was already built. I had been already building it. So by the time I went to war, see what I'm saying, right? I had been giving offerings since I was 18. The first time I gave over $100 to a ministry, I was only 18 years old, buddy. And I'm talking about supporting a real ministry. At first, I started out with a ministry that wasn't right, and then I got with another ministry that was on point, and I started giving there. That was it. I was 18 years old, giving over I gave my first offering over $100 was $125. I was only 18. I remember riding a bike to the post office. Only 18 years old, riding a bike to the post office, man. And that's how I started. Put it in the drop box at the post office on the service road in Charlotte, off of Billy Graham, at the post office over there. Rolled my bike over there, put it in the drop box. They got like 2 drop boxes over there. Put it in the drop box. Boom. That's when it started. So I've been at this since I was a teenager, man. I'm talking about like not playing around, like fasting, giving offerings, and a teenager. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Now you see why God has fiercely defended me, bro. Cause like I just been at this way too long. You know what I'm saying? I know what I'm talking about. So when I tell you I'm a Christian, that's how far it goes back. That's why it's just no hope. God is willing to just take care of this whole community, and that's what you need to know. You don't matter compared to me. No, you don't. If it comes to my life and yours, you the one gonna die. I'm gonna tell you just like that. If it come to my life and yours, that ain't the game you want to play. Because God is already involved, right? Okay, so if it comes between my life and yours, because you're corny like that, right? God gonna take you. Man, you never served God. You never been a servant of God, man. That's the problem for you. Okay? People can vouch for me as young as 18 years old, giving offerings and fasting and seeking God. Okay? That's not the game you want to play. And that's for anybody and that's for everybody. Okay? Anybody in the world, you don't want to play this game with me. Because God will defend me over all you and your families. And this is why. Okay? I gave God my young years. And you know how he rewarded me? You know how he rewarded me? With supreme protection that you don't want to challenge. This is why you in this situation. Soon as they put an STD in my body, guess what happened to them? You got COVID-19. You put a disease in my body, you got COVID-19, buddy. Why you think it happened? You didn't put it together, did you? Now you know who I am, don't you? Now what you think COVID was with all this foolishness going on? And it was going on before COVID-19. They ain't gonna tell you that. Okay? COVID is a result of all this stuff that's already been going on. That you see right now, that's been going on. That's why I don't pay no attention. That's why I don't pay these people in the building no attention. They the same people. They just an extension of the same thing that I've been through. Nothing different about it. Not at all. Nothing different. Not 1%. Okay? Now, I was diagnosed October 2019, right? By January, the next year was 2020. 3 months later, Y'all got COVID-19, first case of COVID-19. Now that you know I'm a prophet, what you think it was? You get it, don't you? That's why I ain't even tripping. Because we could listen, while you feel sorry for me, all through COVID, God was just blessing me with joy while my enemies were suffering with COVID-19. I didn't even get a chance to mourn because by the time I turned around, 3 months later, y'all had COVID-19. Now, big as COVID was, do you see what happened? 3 months after I was diagnosed, y'all got COVID-19. You think that's a coincidence, being that I'm a prophet and now that you know who I am? You think it's a coincidence that they put something in the prophet's body on purpose? Black people ain't telling you they conspired against me on purpose and put a disease in my body on purpose. They ain't telling you that, are they? Yeah, they did, right? 3 months later, guess what happened? COVID-19 happened. COVID-19 happened. You see where we at, right? Okay. I'm just letting you know. Because if you listen to the wrong people, they're going to leave you on a wild goose chase about corniness and talking corniness. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, listen, this is exactly what happened. They put a disease in the prophet's body on purpose. They sent somebody to me to do it on purpose. I met this person on a dating site, right? But the Freemasons in the black community and the Illuminati sent that person to me on the dating site on purpose. That's how they was monitoring my phone. They was monitoring me on these dating apps. They could easily put your phone under surveillance and know what you're doing. Okay, with that being said, they sent somebody to message me, to inbox me, right? Right, okay. This person intentionally gave me a disease. The Freemasons, a Freemason was his boss, his manager. Put two and two together. He just so happened to be working for a Freemason. This person that put a disease in my body on purpose, he just so happened to be working for a Freemason. Just a sheer coincidence. He just happened to be working for, come on, man. You know I know better than that, man. With all this stuff going on top of that, it's just a coincidence that he just happened to work for a Freemason. They conspired to put it in me on purpose. The Freemason he was working with, them two conspired to do this on purpose. The black community was part of it from Charlotte, North Carolina. Okay? You got it? Okay, so that's the history. Now, three months later, y'all got COVID-19. Boom. Boom, baby. That's what happened to you. So I didn't feel sorry for myself. In fact, I never cried for myself, not one time. That's the strength of the Lord. God gave me, God avenged me, and he's still avenging me right now. Okay, I'm just letting you know. Now you see the manifestations, but the manifestations have been there, so I got to take you back to the older manifestations. Now you see what happened. Now you see why you got COVID-19. Okay, yeah. Okay, that's what happened. Glory to God. That's why, and this is full circle to my message, that's why I moved the way I move concerning America. Because I already know, listen, I already know the conspiracy that they put against me. So why am I act like it's some hope? It ain't no hope. Okay, that's what they did. I'm telling you, I know I put all my credibility on that. That's what they did, man. I wouldn't tell you something that I ain't thought about a million times and thought about different scenarios and paid attention to all these patterns. I'm very street smart, right? So I ain't gonna just tell you something that I'm just kind of paranoid about or something like that. I'm not a paranoid person. That's one thing about me. I'm not a paranoid person. And how you know for sure? Because I move around too much. I go to new cities too much. A paranoid person don't leave home. They don't go to no different cities. It's out of character for a paranoid person to travel and go to California and travel and go to New York, travel and go to Florida. A paranoid person, that's their worst nightmare, is to be surrounded with a whole bunch of people they don't know. That's their worst nightmare, is to be surrounded by a whole bunch of people they don't know. So that's how you know I'm not a paranoid person by nature, because I travel too much. You ain't think about it, did you? A paranoid person ain't gonna travel and be going to go to Los Angeles and go and come back in one piece and all of that. No. So me, I'm a confident person. I go wherever I want to go. I proved that. You know what I'm saying? And so a paranoid person is gonna have too many apprehensions about what could happen and who could hurt them and all this different stuff. That's why you notice paranoid people don't go nowhere. They don't leave their city. They don't go nowhere because they paranoid. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna go nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Me, listen. It's guts over glory. It's guts and glory. You gotta have guts to get the glory. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have guts to get the glory. So like that's why I don't take any foolishness off of people, because I know you ain't got the guts that I got. And you just playing a little cartoon game in the atmosphere that I'm at, wherever that's at. A lot of people like to play around me. You know what I'm saying? But it's a joke, because once everybody who know the real histories is never going to give you the respect that I get. It's just not going to happen. You don't even know all that has happened, all the respect that I done got, all the stories. I can't even tell you all the stories at one time. You know what I'm saying? But basically, man, I done got a lot of respect. You know what I'm saying? And nobody's going to usurp over that. Okay? Now, since I realized what they did with using the Freemasons against me and all of that, right? It's been on ever since. You know what I'm saying? I got the vindication of seeing that same person that put a disease in my body to be with that same person while he's seen COVID-19 destroy the community. That was part of avenging me. I got to go back to that same person. And you know what? He's probably just now realizing what happened. Like, oh, I think that was because of, COVID-19 was a result of that person playing around my body. Now, you either believe this, that God would do that for me, or you don't. I can't make you believe that. I can't make you. I'm just telling you, that's what happened. Mm-hmm. What's the odds I get diagnosed and then 3 months later they get COVID? What's the odds? And look how big COVID was. See, that's how good my sight is. I don't care about discerning people. I discern occurrences. Glory to God. I discern things that happen in the proper context as opposed to people, and I don't get nothing from it. I don't care who a person is. I'm trying to figure out what's going on out here. And once I seen that happened 3 months later, I knew that God had avenged me from this community. So with that being said, obviously, in that context of everything that happened, right, that it was an American conspiracy, a big American conspiracy. They're not going to tell you how big it was, okay? But it was, right? My spiritual weapons became weapons against them. Okay? That's what happened. My weapons became weapons against them. Every weapon that I have is a weapon against them based on just that happening right there. See, God don't play clown games. That's how we found out, and we're still finding out who's the clowns by the games that people play. Okay? I have a great sense of humor. Right? Me being from the South, that's part of it too. You know, I'm around the funk, old school. You know what I'm saying? I've always been cool with old school generation. So, with that being said, you know, I have a great sense of humor, but don't ever get that twisted. A clown gonna get it. See my sense of humor and think that me and him kind of the same. Nah, I'm a cool dude with a good sense of humor. That don't mean anything else other than that. And that's where people have really misjudged the situation. Okay? I've always been the funniest out of most people I've been around. I'm esteemed by Africans as a funny person, funny guy. That's how Africans see me. African people see me as a funny person. So I've always been esteemed that way. But that doesn't mean that that's what all I embody. I don't just embody a ball of laughter and fun at all times. But I'm a humorous person, but I'm not a one-track minded person. And you could be one-track minded thinking that's all there is to me. You know what I'm saying? Because some people doing it to save face, like I'm a comedian. I'm not a comedian. You know what I'm saying? But you trying to do it to like not to be cool, like I'm a clown, like I'm not. Listen, bro. Listen. You ain't never see me do nothing to where it seemed like I was a comedian. Now, if I'm funnier than you, then you got dry humor and you got a dry sense of humor. That's not my fault, but I'm not out here being no comedian. You know what I'm saying? I'm not playing no games. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes a clown can't tell when you got a sense of humor when to take you seriously. You know what I mean? And it's not going to get better. Okay? It's not going to get better because I'm using all my weapons, fasting and giving offerings against these Americans. I'm in day 3 of a fast right now. And I'm gonna do a 7-day fast. So I'm like halfway through. Cause 3 days and a half it's gonna be halfway through. So 10 o'clock tonight I'll be halfway through. That's tonight. So just like that, I'm halfway through it. Once I'm halfway through a fast, you know, it's smooth sailing after that. And see, this is what's getting it done too, not just the offering. See, that's the balance. If people don't really believe in these offerings that I'm giving, you got to believe in this fasting. This fasting is 100. All Christians gonna believe in that, but you're gonna have some Christians gonna say do it in the right spirit and all. We ain't talking about religious people, man. We are at war, okay? If you don't value your life and you let people play with you and you sit back and you want to sing kumbaya with people that play with your life, that's you. But then I'm gonna take you to the Bible where David didn't sing kumbaya, where servants of God did not sing kumbaya, buddy. Where God commanded his people to go to war and kill other people. Yeah. So just cause you got used to this American style and you think you clowning me, I'm not even an American Christian. I'm a Middle Eastern type of Christian. Because the Bible comes out the Middle East. It's not American. Now, you got American Christians and they got their gospel music. They got kumbaya songs. That's them. I'm more of a Middle Eastern Christian. I pay attention to people outside of America these days. I don't really entertain America. If you pay attention, the center point of America, I don't pay attention to it. Okay? This is what happens when a grown man is played with. That's all you gotta understand. Okay? And you a clown. Right? Okay then. So all you getting is what happens when you play with a grown man. I don't have to be a gangster. I can be a grown man and go to war about this. Just being a grown man. I can explain this without talking about being a gangster. This is about being a grown man and people playing in your face and playing with a grown man. And see, some of y'all, you ain't got no manhood, so you don't know the difference between manhood and gangsters. A black man with manhood and a gangster. You don't know the difference. A man is gonna talk principle for principle for principle. That's how you know it's a man. A man got a whole bunch of principles lined up for why he's responding the way he's responding. And he's going to explain. He's going to explain with principles and violations. Okay? That's what a man going to do when he start opening his mouth. Okay? A man is going to break down principle after principle after principle. And this is why I'm responding this way. This is why. Right? See, a man is used to controlling the maestro in his house, right? He the maestro. He the master of ceremonies in his own house, right? Okay, so then he used to talking to his wife and explaining things like the boss. Not in a sexist way, but a boss man is going to explain when he runs a house. I've ran houses, plural. You ever ran a house? Some of y'all ain't never ran a house, buddy. Stop playing. That's a 7 out. You ran a house. No, come on, stop playing. Some of my enemies, man, come on, you ain't never ran no house, man. Come on, stop playing. You still living home with Mom Dukes, ain't you? You ain't never ran no house. You still living home with Mama. Guarantee you are. I done ran houses, buddy. Well, where I sit down and have a powwow with my woman. You understand me? Real man gonna tell you that, buddy. I sit home and have a powwow with my woman. And when you a man that runs a house, what you gonna do? When there's a situation, you gonna break down principles and violations to your woman. And you're gonna have a cool, collective attitude about it. So that's how you can tell who's a real man, who's really been running houses. Because you and your wife, right, your companion, you know how to break down principles where she went wrong, right? And that's where you start right there. When you're a real papa, you break down principles. That's all you're gonna be talking about. That's why a real man ain't gonna be dealing with no foolishness. It's no room for it. Cause when he come and examine it, he gonna look at principles and violations, and that's it. No, it's no. That's how we know it's a lot of people from the gay community, the lesbian community, that ain't got no adulthood playing around with me. How we know? Because you don't think in terms of principles. You don't think that's all real men do. If you don't know, all we do is think about principles and violations in real time. In real time, not in the fantasy world. That's back to gay boy stuff. That's back to psychological gay girl stuff. We're not talking about that. A real man has to deal with reality. That's all he gonna be dealing with. He got a woman right in front of him. He got kids right in front of him. You think he gonna get off in a psychological world and value that kind of thinking when this man is always interacting with reality? Nope. That's why it don't work on me. Because once you get to a certain age, all it is about reality. That's it. Money and reality. That's it. Ain't no room for all that psychological crazy stuff like when you was a kid. We don't care about that. We don't value that. And listen, if you think I got any senseis or OGs that's over me, there's nobody over me. Okay, like I told y'all before, man, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you think it's Bone Thugs and Harmony. What make you think that, oh, my brother told you I like Bone Thugs and Harmony? Bone Thugs and Harmony ain't my senseis, man. Ain't none of them dudes my senseis, man. You know what I'm saying? I talked to Crazy Bone personally. You know what I'm saying? That's what some of the Bone members might not even know. I talked to Crazy Bone personally. Back 13 years ago, you know what I'm saying? Cause I sent him some money, concerning like listening to one of my tracks. He had this little thing going on or whatever. So he would you could pay him to listen to one of your songs or whatever. So I had sent him one of my songs and sent him some bread. You know what I'm saying? And he sent the money back, right? And so that it was just like me and him talk back and forth and everything like that, and he was just like, well, did you get your money back? Like that, boom. So Crazy Bone sent my money back. He summoned somebody to send my money back or whatever, and everything like that. So that's my story with Bone. You know what I'm saying? Bone Thugs and Harmony, who y'all might be jocking. You know what I'm saying? I actually talked to Crazy Bone, and and once again, I came to him like a man and said what I needed to say and said how I felt. It wasn't no disrespect. It was no violation. It was I said what I needed to say as a man. You know what I'm saying? Because it was miscommunication about people listening to my music. You know what I'm saying? And his staff was very unprofessional. It's not his fault. His staff was very unprofessional. They kept telling me he was gonna listen to my music before he went out. Again, like to do shows and everything like that. So of course, if you waiting for somebody to listen to your music, you done sent them your money, right? You're gonna be following them online, not in a stalker type way, but just trying to get things going in the direction that it's supposed to go. So then when I seen they went to like Switzerland or something to do a show, right? I hollered back at the staff, and the staff couldn't even give me no real clear-cut answers, but they was telling me that he was gonna listen to my music before they went back out. So when I seen on Twitter that he said he went to Switzerland, what you gonna be thinking? Oh wow, let me go holler at them. He said he was gonna listen to my music before they went back out. So I fell out, I spazzed on the staff, you know what I'm saying, to a certain degree, to a boss man degree. And I didn't still feel I was getting the respect that I deserved. I didn't feel like I was getting the acknowledgement that I deserved. So I went and hollered at Crazy Bone directly. And he was like, And I posted on Facebook that I respect the person of Crazy Bone, but I do not respect the businessman of Crazy Bone. That's what I said, and he responded and everything like that. And I was telling him basically, the staff was saying whatever they were saying, but he was like, "Well, did you get your money back?" Yeah, but it wasn't about the money. You know what I'm saying? It was about the opportunity more than anything, and then it's the unprofessionalism that had me, man. You know, where they was telling me, the staff was telling me he gonna listen to the music or whatever, and you don't know how much jealousy. Cause you remember how Selena, the artist, she was around jealous people. You never know if that person was actually jealous of my talent, bro. I'm just saying, man. I mean, I don't know, man. You know, you got a lot of people around you, especially with like Bone. They got that cult kind of following where that person who was staff might have been a person trying to get on too. You know what I'm saying? But my music been validated by Mobb Deep from Havoc from Mobb Deep. He heard the same music. He heard the same album that Crazy Bone I sent them, and he loved it. He sent me his number, the dude from Mobb Deep. The same album the same time I went in the studio, I sent Havoc heard another song from that same album, and he was all like ecstatic, like, "Yo, I see what you're doing." He gave me his number, everything, bro. That's what I'm saying. So that was the vindication that same year. I still got vindicated, you know what I'm saying, as far as my music and everything. Because listen, man, I know I'm good. I know I'm good at what I do. Once I got validated by Mobb Deep, for sure, you know what I'm saying, like, that's all I needed from the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, Mobb Deep is a better voucher as far as hip-hop than Bone Thugs and Harmony. I mean, Bone Thugs and Harmony got the fast style and all of that, but when it comes from bar for bar, real MCs, that's gonna be Mobb Deep over Bone Thugs. I mean, who you gonna choose? Who's more MCs? Mobb Deep. Who's more a milestone for hip hop? Bone Thugs or Mobb Deep? Hands down, you gotta go with Mobb Deep, bro. So man, once I got validated by Mobb Deep, I didn't even really care about. I didn't even follow up and try to holler at Crazy Bone anymore. The only thing I did was I kind of stayed. How you know I'm not a hater. I kind of stayed in touch with like one of the artists that he had named Kane. You know what I'm saying? This dude named Kane. Me and him was cool. You know what I'm saying? But I guess just like, man, I kind of trailed off just from the whole movement over there. It might have been influenced by how things happen. You feel me? Like, but he was a genuine person. Like, I remember one time when I was on the streets, he kind of reached out to me. You know what I'm saying? When I was on the streets or whatever. So I don't know if Crazy might have told him to keep his eye on me to see, you know what I'm saying, or something like that. But see, you can't move like that, man. You gotta be. If you know somebody got talent, man, you gotta get them in there, bro. You gotta get them in there. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I see it. It's one thing for sure is there's a talent. It's a talent to hear talent and to find talent. Everybody can't hear talent. Everybody can't hear the direction of what you're trying to do with your music or the potential of your music. Everybody can't hear it. Now, back in the day, you could be singing in the field and somebody could hear that person got talent. They ain't got to hear no demo. This back in the day. They could just hear you sing a couple songs or a couple notes, and that's it. They already can hear it, see it. It was a talent to find talent. It's a talent to hear talent. It's a talent to see talent. Now everybody doing what I'm doing. All the rapping, the singing, and the rapping and all of that. Now it all makes sense. You know what I'm saying? But see, if you don't really know, man, like what people doing, if you don't really have that ear to hear potential, my thing is this, like, I feel like Crazy should have still just listened to it. He should have just still listened to it. It ain't like, oh, okay, that song has to go out. That song didn't have to go out. All you had to do was see the talent. Okay, then we can go get back in the studio. Or you didn't know I had more tracks. I made a whole album. I don't play no games. I made a whole album. So he just heard one song. I had all these other songs he could have heard. So if it was me, I would have said, you got another song? Let me hear something else. And if it would have been one more other song that was good, I would have took it seriously. And I would have followed up. I already had it. I had the tracks and everything. I had a laptop and everything. I could have easily sent it. I already sent them one track. I already sent them. So you can see I was already set up pretty good where I could send the staff music and everything like that. So, if he would have said, yo, I kind of like that. There's some things in there I wouldn't put in there, but I know you got talent because the bars is crazy. That's like me. That's why I got the respect of New York, because with Havoc from Mobb Deep, because I'm bar for bar. I'm about them bars. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if you hear my bars and you can't see what the stuff I'm saying, and you in the industry, you can't see I'm saying stuff ain't nobody said before, and you can't see the talent, I don't know. But anyway, man, Mobb Deep liked my music, and that just solidified me forever. You know what I'm saying? For somebody like that to respect my music, that's what most artists do it for anyway. We do it for validation from other people that we already listen to and the best. You know what I'm saying? Once I got that, I didn't need anybody else, because everybody gonna respect that voucher. Everybody gonna respect the voucher of Mobb Deep, even over Bone Thugs. They gonna be kind of iffy about Bone. Let's keep it 100 when it comes to like who they might voucher for or whatever. If Bone told you they got an artist, you're gonna be like, okay. But if Mobb Deep told you they had an artist that they had their eye on, you're gonna take it way more seriously. Right or wrong. If Bone Thugs tell you, we got an artist, you're gonna be like, okay, this might be more that Bone style. That's what you're looking for. But if Mobb Deep tell you, Havoc from Mobb Deep tell you, yo, I got this artist, you're gonna take it way more serious. Like, yo, you expecting bars and everything, and that's what I delivered. You know what I'm saying? So, once I got that validation from Havoc from Mobb Deep, I wasn't stressing. I ain't even think about Bone Thugs and Harmony no more. So I'm just saying, like, if you think that, I'm just keeping it 100 with you. You know what I'm saying? They not my senseis. I done talked to them personally. I done talked to Crazy Bone personally, which is the one that everybody think is the best anyway. I talked to him personally, and I was man enough to stand and say what I needed to say, like a real was supposed to. You know what I'm saying? Without violating somebody and without disrespecting him. You know what I'm saying? And saying what I needed to say. Cause see, that wasn't supposed to go like that. Now it makes the whole community feel some type of way. Like, why did that happen? Cause of staff. So you can't say, okay, I just sat on my talent. No. I'm telling you, my music is basically in the hands of Crazy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony. How I'm sitting on my talent. Make it make sense. How I'm sitting on my talent. It's right there. He's talking to me personally. How am I sitting on my talent when I'm talking to him personally? And Havoc from Mobb Deep is hearing my music. How? Tell me, how am I sitting on the talent? Now you see what I mean. So then you gotta approach me differently. You gotta miss me with that, you just sat around and did nothing. How? When I'm telling you I talked to Crazy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony. When I'm telling you Havoc from Mobb Deep heard my music. Which neither one of them are corny. Bone Thugs ain't corny to me. I don't think they corny. So, them two people that ain't corny. But Havoc, ain't nobody gonna say he corny at all. You know what I'm saying? Some people might say they don't like the singing and all that singing with Bone Thugs and Harmony. But you ain't gonna say nothing about Havoc being corny at all. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna say that. He the one vouching for my music. He the one said he liked what I was doing. And that's no disrespect to Bone, but I'm just saying some people might, they never liked the singing part, all the singing part. You know what I'm saying? But that's what it is. It's a preference. You can't make everybody like you. That's a preference. You know what I'm saying? But that's just how it is. You know what I'm saying? Some people just want hip hop, no singing or nothing like that. You gonna get that from Mobb Deep, man. Prodigy, Havoc. Their music was MCing. So once I got that respect, I mean, most artists that you even like they gonna respect me if, oh wow, Havoc from Mobb Deep. But see, the haters gonna try to hide it. You know what I'm saying? They gonna try to hide that kind of stuff. So now you gotta take me way more seriously, like 100%. So now you see the prophet had those chances to go through these doors. You see what was happening? But then there was always some type of disturbance because I'm a prophet. There was a disturbance. It's way harder for us to do anything. Things that you esteem as easy, a prophet, it's going to be way more harder. You know why? Because the satanic kingdom going to be fighting me way more harder than he fight you. Anything you just think, well, I could easily do that. He could just easily. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, man, I don't have any senseis. Bone Thugs is not my senseis. I want to clear that up because with all the people that hear me, with my little fast style, sniping style that I used to do, and everything and all of that, you might assume, and they're not my OGs, and I don't act like people my OGs, and they not. So my point is, you can't use them in psychological war, and it means anything to me because they're not my OGs. That's my whole punchline for saying it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying they're not real people. I'm saying they're not my OGs. So you can't put them on me like they my OGs. You can't put them on, it's not any way like that. And I'm not gonna act like it's like that if it's never been like that, and it's not like that. Okay, like I said, I reached out to them and everything like that, and they actually Crazy Bone actually had my music, and I was actually talking to his artist Kane, me and him talking about sports and things like that, just random things, And he a cool dude, so that's why I'm not a hater, because I was like talking to him and I wasn't even trying to sweat him on the music tip. That's just me, and some people might think you ain't hungry, but okay, if I sweat you, you're gonna close up. If I tell you about music, you ain't gonna take me seriously. You know what I'm saying? If I just, listen to this, listen to this, listen to I used to be like that. But I learned to slowly network with people, and that's when he started to really actually show concern about my life. So one time I was homeless, and the dude came, one of Crazy Bone's artists, he actually reached out to me and everything. I think he said something like he was praying for me or something. When I told him I was homeless, or I think I posted it on my page or whatever. But it was like he reached out though. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, man. He a genuine person. He's a cool, genuine person. That the dude came, you know what I'm saying, and he got good music. As far as the skill of it, you know what I'm saying. You know what I mean. You know what I'm saying. Me being a Christian, I don't really get into the music industry no more. You know what I'm saying. But so that's why I clarify good as far as skills and everything. But I could have easily looked at that as a kind of crawl before you walk situation, and kind of that's how they wanted me to see it. Like, let me get cool with him because that might be your label mate. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Get cool with him because that might be your label mate if we think to holler at you, whatever. So let me see how y'all bounce off each other. You know what I'm saying? So But mostly, man, I ain't really talk music with him. I just talk like sports, stuff like that. You know, so that's it, man. But you know, I ain't a hater because he was in the spot that I was trying to, not his spot directly, but I was trying to get on that label. He was on it. That was after I sent my music. Then Kane came after that to that label. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, he reached out to me, so that tells you how he felt about me. You know what I'm saying? I always get confirmed about people, man. That's what I'm saying. But then something goes wrong, and that's the path of the prophet. But you know, even Kane was taking me seriously, talking to me or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, like I said, Mobb Deep, everything like that. And Nas' godfather. I met Nas, the rapper's Nas, I met his godfather. Like, you know how somebody is your godfather in your family, or some person that's a godfather? I met his godfather in Harlem, right? And I spit for him too. Like, he told me he was Nas' godfather. I was like, oh, let me spit for him. So he liked what I did. He took down my information, put it in a folder, put it in his trunk. But see, he was in his trunk and he was traveling. He had a North Carolina tag. But he took me to go get pizza, Lucy's, when I was smoking at that time. He took me through Harlem because I was living in Harlem. I was up on Park Avenue. He was parallel park smoking a cigarette. And I was looking for cigarettes. That's how broke I was at the time. I was just like looking around for cigarettes. And he was smoking one. I asked him, he bust me down on the cigarette. Then he took me to go get some Lucy's around the way in Harlem. You know what I'm saying? So I was that connected in New York like that, where I met Nas' godfather. Now y'all can confirm it because I don't know. But he be in Harlem, so he got North Carolina tags. Y'all can confirm if he be back and forth to North Carolina. That's y'all can confirm that to be true. But this is what the person told me. It's just what the person had going on. He had a North Carolina tag when I met him. So Nas would know, well, yeah, my godfather, he'd be going back and forth to North Carolina, et cetera, et cetera. He be in Harlem. He can confirm all of that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But this is what the dude told me, and it just seemed to be, it wouldn't make sense for him to say it and then buy me pizza, buy me Lucy's. He seemed cool, real. You see what I'm saying? That don't add up. He would lie and then turn around and do so much good favors for me. That, to me, that adds up. You know what I'm saying? And then he had a brother in Harlem. That's kind of really why he was there. And he wanted me to go to this building and go to the front desk and ask for his brother. So I did, and his brother wasn't there. And I got back in the car. He took me back around to where I was living on 126. And that's my story with Nas' godfather. I got in the car with him and everything. He was a cool dude. So, you know, I wasn't scary. I got in the car with him. He got me some pizza, got me some cigarettes. That's when I was smoking. So that's Nas' godfather. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy, right? Like, but nothing came out of it. You tell me. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Like, I sent my music I gave him the address for my music. Like, Nas could have looked on it. But I think he forgot. That's what I think. I think the Godfather forgot because, like I said, he had a North Carolina tag. So think about it. Traveling back and forth, you're not really in the music industry yourself. Most likely, probably not. He didn't say anything to that effect. He probably forgot about that, man. He probably forgot all about it. That's what I think happened. I think he actually forgot. But whatever the case may be, he could have gave Nas my music, and Nas could have looked at it himself and said, wow, okay, he gonna have the same response because I got the bars, you know what I'm saying? And boom. As long as you got the bars, I can get beats, I can do all of that. I got something to work with. You got the bars. That's all I need as a rapper. You can work on the delivery, you can work on that. You gonna get, the more you get in the studio, where you can just relax and get used to the studio, your delivery gonna get better as you get used to the studio. But if you just going into the studio every 3 months, 5 months, your delivery ain't gonna be that good. Like, it ain't gonna be as hot as it could be. But if I hear your bars, and I know you got bars, I know you can write, I can work delivery. See, that's what I just expect from professional people. Delivery, we can work on that, because I'ma just tell you how to express yourself. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell you how to put meaning, the right expression on them words. Okay? Mash the gas on some words, pull back on some words. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that's the foundation. You got them bars, original bars. Oh, I work with somebody like that. Absolutely. Bars, you got bars. Because you can have a great delivery, but you need other people to write for you. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. But bars, I can have you write for somebody else. At minimum, you can be writing for somebody else. You can come in the house and write for somebody else. And start from there, and then you just get used to the studio. I mean, because my delivery wasn't that bad. If Havoc liked it, I'm not saying it was bad. I'm not saying it was nothing to that effect at all. But I'm just saying, if you hear bars, I'm just breaking it down. If you hear bars, words that is hot, we can go from there. And you're doing pretty decent on the beat. You know, yeah, I can work with that. Cause you're gonna get, when you're more relaxed and you're more comfortable in your craft, your delivery gonna be so much better because you relaxed and you in your zone or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, but I just wanted y'all to know a little background. I think it's important. You know what I'm saying? Some people might think, they might not understand what the method to my madness is, because when I share these type of stories, it first of all, it cancels out these enemies, these people that demonize me. Now you feel stupid. Okay, this dude been heard by Mobb Deep, for crying out loud. That's why I was so much jealousy, man. That's why I get so much jealousy. Now you can see the aura, the energy, man. I'm a real MC, you know what I'm saying? But I don't choose to do music anymore because I don't believe in that way of life. I don't believe in making music in the music industry. I just don't believe in it no more. But I'm one of them two type of people that definitely got talent, definitely got taken seriously by people that you take seriously, and that's that. Like Mobb Deep, that's all I need for the rest of my life. You can't tell me nothing. If I got that kind of validation before you came in with politics and the ghetto ignorance and telling, maybe you told Havoc something or that, all of that, they probably did, but the bottom line is he liked me before all those politics came out here, and it's nothing anybody can do about that. He formed his opinion before they came along, and that's tells you what you need to know. Okay, I was validated before if anybody did say something to him about all this crazy stuff going on, I was already validated by him way before that happened. Way before these people started coming out here talking ignorant, but couldn't prove anything. You know what I'm saying? So, Tupac went through it, a lot of guys go through that, you know what I'm saying? Because people if they can't kill you and they too coward to kill you, they gonna try to assassinate your character. That's what they gonna do, because they ain't got the balls to try to kill you, you know what I'm saying? They ain't no killers, you know what I'm saying? So people that try to want to hurt you, they gonna try to assassinate, a coward gonna try to assassinate your character. You know what I'm saying? So, but that just gives you more of an idea of who I really am, as opposed to, oh man, this dude from North Carolina. I'm a dude from North Carolina that got respect from Havoc, from Mobb Deep. So now you can't see me as some little dumb, little goofy, little country boy. I got respect from an MC, bro. You gotta look at me differently. If you real, you gotta look at me differently. You got to. That's Mobb Deep from New York. You gotta see me different. You got to. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, man, like I said, the reason why I bring those things up, because it gives you an idea more of who I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing these videos these days to clout chase, or I'm not clout chasing. I'm not networking. I'm not trying to do any of that. Now I'm serving the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Walking in the straight and narrow. But that gives you an idea of who I am. That's why I do that. I go back in time, just like you could say telling my history, like some people do. Christians go back in time and tell you where they came from and everything like that. That's all really basically the same thing. Basically, it definitely is basically the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So you can see, you take me a little more seriously. You know what I'm saying? Because once you got heard about Mobb Deep, man, that's New York, period. The white girls in New York, the Italians, Jamaicans, I don't care who you talking about. I don't care who they are. You gotta take me seriously, buddy. When I started talking about Mobb Deep, and now you see what I'm saying. Why you was trying to, these other people trying to flex on me, bro. Listen, I done got respect for Mobb Deep, whether you like it or not. And you keep calling me a kid, and I'm almost 50 years old, bro. How you gonna call somebody a kid and he almost 50? It's disrespectful. Kid. Is that a New York thing? I don't know. Because I know they say that up here. Kid, whatever. Back in the day, right? Yeah, kid. I remember that, but calling me a kid like I'm a 20-year-old aspiring kid. I'm not a 20-year-old aspiring person. I'm 44 years old, which means in 6 years I'll be 50 years old. How I'm a kid? I'm gonna be a kid at 50? Come on, bro. Come on. I mean, I don't turn down people thinking I'm fairly young, but I'm at that age now where you can't call me no kid. You know what I'm saying? No. That's how you know I'm getting old now. You can't call me no kid. I got an 18-year-old son. How I'm a kid? My son is a grown man. How I'm a kid? How you gonna call somebody a kid? They got a grown son. His son is a grown man. You know what I'm saying? So I think sometimes people be throwing shade when they say that. Like they being condescending. You can't be condescending on me, bro. I'm above half of these people that's out there. And they're not admitting that. So you'll say, oh, kid is this, kid. Nah, bro, nah. Put some more respect on my name, like Birdman say. You know what I'm saying? My music done got heard from Mobb Deep. Put some more respect on my name. I'm not no kid. I'm over here OG, bro. I'm almost 50 years old. I got an 18-year-old kid. Don't ever call me no kid. I don't like it. I straighten everybody who do it. I don't know if it's a New York thing or what. Maybe it is. But I don't like it. I'm from the South. You don't call no grown man no kid. We don't like it. That's how you know I pride myself on being a man. Because some people don't care about that. Some people don't care. Yeah, I'm a real MC, man. That's why I didn't really go with Southern rap. You know, most people would say, you should have just stayed in the South if you do that music. Like, if you do music, rap music, and you left in 2012, that's when Lil Wayne and all of them was out. You should have stayed down here in the South. You should have went to Atlanta. That's what most people gonna say. See, I'm smart enough to know that. But at the same time, really be honest with you, I get taken more seriously by New York rappers as far as bars and my lyrics. You know what I'm saying? Somebody from the South kind of want to do, you know what I mean? They want to do the car music. They want to do the ride around music and stuff like that. And it ain't really, a lot of times it's not MCing music. You know what I'm saying? So as you can see, I got taken more seriously by Mobb Deep. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I needed in my life to get validated. But I did talk to Lil Wayne online too. You know, me and him had one conversation. I talked to Silk the Shocker from No Limit. I talked to MC Light. Those are the celebrities I talked to. MC Light, Silk the Shocker, and Wayne. You know what I'm saying? Lil Wayne, you know what I'm saying, with Birdman. I talked to Lil Wayne on Facebook when the stars were approachable, when you could approach them. And cause when it kind of first came out, all the Facebook and everything, man, the stars were cool. You could talk to them. But it's so many people that troll, you can't do it no more. You can't talk to people no more, man. So I understand it, but back, everybody remember when it first started, like Facebook, all that kind of stuff, Twitter, you could talk to, they was glad to engage the community. You know what I'm saying? And so I talked to Wayne. I caught up with him on one of his pages, like on his main official page. And me and him just talked about random stuff like women, what kind of women, everything like that. We talked about, well, this one dude was on his page that was like sweating him for the music. That's why I don't do that. That's why I don't move like that. I knew that I don't, as soon as you say something to a star about the music, they gonna shut it down, bro. They ain't gonna say nothing else to you. So I didn't play that role, but it was another dude that was on the thread that me and Wayne was on. This post that he made, it was a thread, comment thread under, and me and him was just talking a little bit. And this other dude came in, and I was like, man, you like a stan. Let that man breathe. Let him chill. Let Wayne chill. I'm like, let him chill, man. Cause he talking to everybody. He's talking. But this one dude is just like messing it up, cause he's like trying to talk to him and yo, listen to my music, like the typical stuff. But we actually got Wayne talking, right? Think about it. This is a dummy. He probably regret that too. Like, I'm like trying to shut him up. Cause Wayne is like laid back. He like cool. Cause he used to always say coffee and blunts. He can confirm that. That's what he would always say on his posts. Coffee and blunts, coffee and blunts, coffee and blunts. So I used to follow him a lot like that. Early in the morning, he'd be saying coffee and blunts, you know. But me and him started talking about females, you know what I'm saying? That's what's ironic. Me and Wayne was talking about what kind of females we like. And then the dude kept sweating him. Yo, listen to my music. I think he was dropping it on the thread and everything. I'm like, yo, let the dude breathe, man. You like a stan. And then Wayne responded, that man said, you like a stan. He started laughing. Now, if I made Wayne laugh, well, you can see my personality, my sense of humor. So me and him would easily have gotten along, you know, but yeah, I talked to him though. I talked to Wayne. He was like, that man called you a stan. Like, for me to get Wayne's to laugh or attention, that's gold too, man. That was gold. So that's my moment talking to Lil Wayne. So see, people didn't know that those things happen. You know what I'm saying? Those things happen. MC Light, now that's who everybody gonna respect. From Wayne to Birdman, everybody gonna respect Lil MC Light, the female MC. And basically her song inspired me to stop smoking another time. That Porgy Georgie song, yeah, like that's probably one of my favorite songs from her. You know what I'm saying? So I was listening to it, man. You know, and Porgy Georgie, the dude on the song, he kind of was a lover boy, and I'm kind of a lover boy. So that part was registering too. Like, kiss the girls and make them cry. That part right there, I'm thinking like, But it was talking about the smoking and everything like that. So I tweeted her and said, yo, your song inspired me to stop smoking. You know what I'm saying? She was like, that's great, like that. And it did. You know what I'm saying? And now I haven't smoked, you know, I've been trying to quit smoking for a while. Now I haven't smoked in like 2 years, almost 2 years, coming on 2 years. So I'm doing real good, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm more focused on my sobriety right now. That's what I'm focused on more than anything is just my sobriety. You know what I mean? And because I haven't been this clean from smoking and smoking weed in like 15 years. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, well, 16 years actually. This is the cleanest I've been in 16 years, you know, and with my drinking too, the drinking. I ain't been this clean in 16 years, so that's why I ain't tripping off of people. You know what I mean? Because they don't know, man, you know, like if I was around here drinking, man, I would have been turned up. They don't know no better. That's why God shut me down. I ain't drink the whole time I basically been in New York. I brought some Chardonnay when I came in. I was drinking Chardonnay on the bus when I came in, some white wine. You know what I'm saying? And I finished off that white wine the same day. But I needed it for my energy to get my work done. As soon as I came to New York, I hit the ground running, tipsy. You know how you tipsy, especially early in the morning. You know that little vibe when you be tipsy early in the morning. So I'm like that, getting all my work done, you know, getting my new situation, housing situation set up. So I came in tipsy, and in New York, I was already tipsy when I came in. I was tipping it when I was on the bus. You know what I mean? So when I got off the bus, but I'm that type of person, I can function. So I came in tipsy in New York. I hadn't been here in a couple years. I came in tipsy, got my job done, got my work done, got established. You know what I'm saying? I ain't get tipsy and then stay on the street and lay down somewhere. I lived in New York. I could have done that, you know, but I hit the ground running, man. I came in and got my job, got my work done, got off the streets, you know what I'm saying, and everything. But that was my last bottle. Once I finished that bottle that night, once I settled into where I was living, I still had the bottle and I finished it off, and that was it. And that was 6 months ago. So I haven't drank in like 6 months, and I'm just enjoying my sobriety, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm in a good place. That's why I don't mind eating a little more, because everybody know when you don't smoke and you don't drink, you're gonna eat more. So I don't mind eating a little more when I do eat, you know what I'm saying? But see, that's why the devil tries to bring confusion, you know what I'm saying? In this place where I'm living and everything, these suckers don't know, man. I mean, you know, I haven't been smoking, I haven't been drinking, you know what I'm saying? And I don't need no aggravation. I don't need no player hating. I don't need no suckers. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that's gonna make me smoke or drink or smoke weed, but I don't need it. You know what I'm saying? I don't need that in my way. You know what I'm saying? And so this is the cleanest I've been in like 16 years. See, that's what God is focused on. And I realize that. That's what God is focused on. My sobriety. More than anything else. More than anything else. And that's why I gotta watch my temperament and watch my feelings and behavior. You know, I'm past the point where I get when you get irritable if you ain't had a cigarette. I'm way past that. I don't feel that way at all. I don't feel tempted to smoke. I don't feel tempted to drink. I don't feel tempted to smoke weed. You know, I'm pretty much the best weed years are behind me, because I smoked weed in the 90s when we had fat dime sacks, them fat sacks where they had to seal them closed, melt them closed with the lighter. You know what I'm saying? I grew up on that as a teenager, you know, smoking weed in the 90s. So I grew up on that real hip hop, sit back, smoke a Philly blunt. I remember the Phillies, right? You know what I mean? Philly blunts, gutted and splitted, and yeah. But so those were the good years of smoking weed back then, and I was writing music back then too. Yeah, that was the good best weed time. You know what I'm saying? It was at that right nice spot. Cause back in the 70s it wasn't that strong. In the 80s it kind of. The 90s it was official. That's when it was starting to get official. You know what I mean? But yeah, you know, but weed ain't what it used to be, and I used to be a real weed smoker. And one thing about me, like I'm influenced by like the whole weed culture. You know, where it was a science to getting high, which means you set a whole mood like a romance. You got your food, you got like I grew up on Master P, so you know one of the principles we learned from Master P is you don't get high on an empty stomach. You know what I'm saying? That's what Master P taught in his music. You don't real smokers don't smoke. Real smokers don't get high on an empty stomach, because if you do, you gonna have the munchies and be sitting around eating. That's all you're gonna be doing. But when you're young, that's what you do. When you're super young, when I first started smoking, when I was like 14, 15, that's all you're gonna do is have the munchies, eat the cereal, eat the ham and cheese sandwiches and pizza and all that stuff. You know, but when you get older, by the time I was like 16, I grew up on that Master P. You know what I'm saying? Master P was like, smokers don't smoke on the empty. Real smokers don't smoke on the empty stomach, and that kind of really stuck with me. And I kind of added that to my principles. And like people was around me, we always eat first, after that, and smoke. And it was better because you got food on your stomach first of all, and you high. with food on your stomach, you're gonna feel way better. Then, oh man, I need me a sandwich. That's the first thing you're gonna be thinking about when you get high. And you ain't ate nothing, man, I want some chicken. Man, I want something to eat. So, as a young dude, I start listening to Master P, and then I stopped eating on the empty stomach. I started eating good, eat me a good meal, then I smoke me a blunt right after that. That's how we used to do it. Smoke me a blunt right after I eat some good food. Way better. Smoke you a Black and Mild, smoke you a blunt right after you done ate. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's how it was. You know what I'm saying? That's why, like I said, that was the best times. Ain't nothing gonna be, cause ain't no comparable time as far as the high. As far as the youth, your youth. Smoking weed when you're young, I don't care how much good the weed is now. Smoking weed when you're young is the best. And I'm not condoning it. I'm not saying do it. But it's different when you smoke weed and you ain't got no responsibilities. You ain't got no baby mama drama. You ain't got nothing to worry about at that time. And you just a young dude smoking weed, and you ain't got no responsibilities. All you gotta do is just go to school and play video games. Man, that was the best time to smoke weed. You ain't got no responsibilities. That's the main thing. And you in the kids' world, and then that too, cause you playing the video games halfway high, man, that ain't nothing like that. Halfway high playing them video games. As a kid, high playing video games. As a kid, watching the movies and tripping off the movies while you high. That's how it was though, you know what I'm saying? That was like, ain't nothing comparable to that. You smoke weed as a grown man, you gonna chill, but you get into your old school, you know what I'm saying? Getting you play some R&B songs and all of that and everything. But, you know, you're gonna be thinking about real life. You're gonna be thinking about getting your game tight. You're gonna think about some real grown man things and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be added to the equation, and you're gonna think about your life and everything. It's not as carefree. When you smoke weed as a grown man, it's not as carefree as when you was a kid. When you was a kid, it's totally carefree. You ain't got nothing to worry about. You know? So, like now, I wouldn't be interested. I used to be a weed head, you know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't be interested in smoking weed. You can tell by my sense of humor. I mean, can you imagine how I was when I smoked weed? I was tripping. When I had the right people around me that, you know what I'm saying, I'm tripping when I smoke weed, but, cause it ain't no need to smoke it if you're gonna be serious and act all quiet and serious. See, that generation came after me, but my generation, man, smoking weed, the whole point was to trip. That's the real weed culture, was to trip. If you wasn't tripping, why are you smoking? Like the whole point, like it's one of those type of intoxications, if you will. Weed was a silly, like a fun intoxication. Like that's what it's all about. You know, you smoke weed, you want to trip, you want a good laugh. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to smoke weed and be. But see, then we got into the serious culture of the streets and homies hanging out, and it got a little more serious when we started smoking, and then that whole culture of tripping kind of went away. And you really can't get that out of people unless they get tipsy on alcohol and they get drunk. Now you get the same feel you used to get off of them when you used to smoke. That's why some people like to drink, because you get that same vibe like when you was young and smoked weed. Like, cause everybody usually smoke weed and want to be quiet. Like, I don't understand that. I'm like, you don't know you high until you start talking. That's how you gonna know you really high. Oh, what happened over there? Yeah, you talking and everything. You ain't gonna know you high until you start talking. Walking around doing something or just interacting with somebody, having a conversation, everything. You ain't gonna know you high until you start talking. So like, I like people that like to like trip. That's how I used to be, trip when they smoke weed. Like that, and to me, that's the best effect of weed. It's meant for you to trip, be happy and laugh and stuff like that. If you get serious on weed, it has a different effect. That's not the intended effect. You know what I'm saying? I'm you know. You need to trip. It gets you out of your element. You know what I'm saying? And it would make sense to me to further go back, you know, cause it was an escape from the woes of the hood. You know what I'm saying? I can imagine people deeper in poverty, you know, smoke a blunt and you kind of happy. You know what I'm saying? You escaping the moment for a minute. You know what I mean? So, but somewhere along the way, man, weed culture got like where people got serious and quiet. That's another thing that kind of pushed me away from like weed smokers, because all of them like to just these days sit around and be quiet and just kind of watch stuff. Man, I be like in the trip. Back when I used to, but yeah. So I mean, once that was gone. Once that trip vibe was gone, I'm cool on that. Cause I had black friends who were the same way. It wasn't white boy. I had a black friend, Dominique. He got killed, man. He got killed out in the streets. But Dominique was my homie, man. Like me and him used to smoke all the time. We went through middle school and high school together. And we was smoking through middle school and high school. He was one of them kids. You know what I'm saying? And he was always funny, man. Always. You know, he was one of them dudes. As soon as you get around him, you just start smiling and laughing. He one of them type of dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like that's always was the vibe, me and him. The whole time hanging out with him, man, always. From the time we talk and hang out, we always laugh and tripping and everything. And he liked to trip. Like I'm talking about. One time, like me and him was at my house, because my mom let him come over or whatever. Like we was sitting on the porch smoking some weed one time. And like I'm in a dominantly black neighborhood where I live at, right? So these white dudes was walking through our neighborhood. This is how you know I really lived in kind of a black neighborhood. Cause white dudes stuck out to us. And I'm a kid. I'm like 16 years old. Like 15 or 16. So we high, real high, good and high. And a matter of fact, that day we was listening to Mobb Deep. I had the Hell on Earth album. So we was smoking, listening to that. And then we came out on the porch. We decided to step out on the porch or whatever. So we sitting on the steps, and these two white dudes walked through our hood, right? And for whatever reason, because we was high, we started talking with like a UK accent, like a London accent, like, you bloody bastards. What are you bloody guys doing, you bloody bastard? And we just laughing and tripping off these dudes, and they probably scared because we two black dudes with these, and we just tripping off these dudes with this London, I remember this London, UK accent. And we was high, man. And they was walking fast too, cause that's how I know they were scared. Probably scared. But he got killed, man. You know, my friend Dominique, man, and you know, he one of them friends that you know how you knew you feel like you lost a part of you, that you would have been different if he would have survived. He was one of them dudes for me, that if he would have lived, I would have probably been different. I probably would have been more focused in life. I probably would have got more into getting money, just money, straight money, cause that's what he was doing before he passed. And if I would have got around him, he one of them dudes that would have got me into whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like I would have got into whatever he was doing, cause I already was doing real good before he passed. Wearing dress shoes, everything, like nice fresh clothes, everything. If he would have got up with me, he would have put me on. Me and him would have been homies, like aces. That's how cool we was, and he was that person to me that if he would have lived, he would have changed my life. I would have been a different person. Once he died, when I heard he died through a mutual friend, yeah, I probably would have found him. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I would have found him or whatever. Maybe I would have, but he got killed on my side of town and on the west side, trying to defend this girl. He went over her house and somebody shot him over there. Like I guess it was some other dude over there, obviously. And she called him over there. Now I don't know if he had a pistol, but he probably did. But he probably had the mind to have one. But I don't know how if he just went over there to fight a dude. He could have did that too, knowing Dominique. And he was just one of them stand-up cool guys like that, man. You know, and he went over there and the dude shot him. I heard he got shot with some type of rifle. For some odd reason, that was brought up, what kind of gun it was. Like he was shot with some type of rifle. And but if he had lived, like that guy probably would have got me more focused. Or I might have got him more focused because I was a Christian by that time. And he might have would have followed my lead. And we could have put the two worlds together, the money and the Christianity. That's how cool we was with each other, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he came to my house or whatever. I hated that, man. I heard what happened. That's a friend that I lost in the streets. A real friend. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, that was one of my friends I lost out there. I mean, it was just me, and the thing about it, how me and him used to hang out, it was just me and him. That's it. It was just me and him, that's all. It was nobody else. And I'm glad it was like that, because me and him just got to know each other and get high and chill. You know what I'm saying? Nothing went wrong. See, I used to hang out with people and nothing went wrong, man. That's how it used to be back in the day. You just chill with somebody, no funny vibes, no arguments, just homies and innocent towards each other. Nothing funny, nothing sketchy, no funny vibration between you and the person. Man, that's gone too. So yeah, you know, Dominique, that was my man, bro. That was like my brother. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he got killed on Tuckasegee, over there on the west side, man. You know? Yeah. I just wish, like, you know, maybe I would have seen his dad. I could have seen his dad or something. You know, see, that was crazy, man. To me, that's somebody I really lost, a real friend I lost out there. Him being out there, and what make it so bad, he got shot. Remind you, I just lost my stepbrother last year from a home invasion. My stepbrother, my dad used to take us all to go to get our haircuts together, and we always played video games together. He used to love them video games, man. Like, so that was my fondest memory of him, you know, is the video games. He used to always make the little music with his mouth in the video game. He used to love doing that. He'll just sit up and do the songs for each video game, you know. He's one of them kids, man, like that. And a home invasion. And he was the best kid out of the brothers. My dad had four kids. I'm the oldest. My brother that got killed was the best kid. He didn't go to school. He didn't get arrested. He didn't sell drugs. He didn't sell any drugs. He didn't do anything. He ain't doing, as far as I know. He might have probably did a little something here and there, probably, you know what I'm saying? But not to where we heard about it or he got arrested. He was the best kid between, as far as staying out of trouble. You know what I'm saying? By the time I was 15, I think I went to juvenile when I was a kid. I had a big old fro. I went to juvenile, and you sit in a little cell like you in jail. Juvenile hall. And they make you wash your hair with the lice chemical stuff. Then that shrink your fro up, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, that's my fro. Now it's all shrinked up. We ain't even want to put no shampoo in our fros, man, because the shampoo shrink the fro. You know what I'm saying? Make it all patted down on the sides. Then you got to pick it out, put grease in it and all of that, man. Back in the day, man, you put grease in your fro, rub it in. That hair food, I don't know if people remember hair food, man. That green hair food, Royal Crown grease. But that hair food, that came along with when I had my fro in the 90s, man. Just to smell that is like nostalgia, man. Because, man, you put that hair food, we thought we was doing some hair food. Oh, it'll really make your hair grow, you know? I don't know how effective it was, but I used to get a lot of it. But that hair food, I used to rub that into my fro, man, pick it out, get a pick, you gotta get a new pick. Yeah, pick out your fro. Cause that's when the fros was back in style, man. You know what I'm saying? The braids, all of that. Yeah. You know? But just give you an idea of who I am, man, you know? That's why it's important, man, cause it's like, people step on the wrong people and God had no mercy. That's just the best way I could put it. God had no mercy, man. You know? But yeah, my brother got killed last year, and that's why I'm more tougher and aggressive these days, because even if you wasn't close to your brother, you still gonna, once he died, all that stuff gonna come back to you. And I promise you, it was like this little spiritual moment, like I'm not lying, where once I heard the news, I was playing around on my smartphone, my smart TV. I was playing around on my smart TV, and I heard almost like this farewell kind of video game song. And I was like, man, I wish for the world I could remember that, what it was. I might go through my history and see if I can find it. But it was the strangest thing, because like I told you, he always liked the little video games and making little sounds and stuff, right? So I heard like this, out of nowhere, because I think I was in the mode of kind of looking at these little video games, because I still do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, just a little music or watch them. I watch little video games. If I can't play them, I'll watch them on YouTube. Watch other people play them. So that's probably what gave me the suggestion for the video. But it was just such a weird, a mysterious moment, because I had just heard that he died. And then the little farewell, it was like this farewell kind of video game music. I don't even remember which game it was. And I was just sitting there like, man, that is so fitting. I'm thinking, I'm like, this is like registering like that. I'm like actually catching it as it's happening. Like, man. And yeah, man. He died from a home invasion. 2 young black dudes last year. This is last year now. This is why I don't have no mercy on my enemies, because I tell them that I went through this. I lost my brother last year, right? This is last year. Not 5 years, 10, 20 years. Last year he died, okay? And he was murdered. He was murdered in my city where I'm from. And that's why, like, for me, I have a low tolerance for people that don't live in the real world. That's real stuff. And you know what I'm convinced of, man? It's some people that don't live in the real world. Like they're a cartoon, which means people can die around them and it don't mean nothing because they're not in the real world. It's not that they're heartless. It's not that they're cold. They're not connected to the real world. I figured it out. That's why you can say stuff like this and it doesn't register, because they're not in the real world. They're like cartoons. And when I tell you this and you've been through real stuff and I tell you my brother died from a home invasion, that's going to register to a real one. You're going to be like, oh man, a home invasion. That's a gangster's worst nightmare, to die from a home invasion. You know what I'm saying? You sitting up getting high in your house or drinking or whatever. Somebody kick in your door. That's the worst way to go. And that's how he died. You know what I'm saying? 2 dudes, one was 18, one was 19. Broke in his house. What I think he did was he let them in. He let them in. What I think he did, being the South in the Charlotte, I think they were selling weed and he met them at the corner store, at the gas station. And they might have said something like they got some weed to sell, and he might have took them back to his house to get the money, and he let them in. And they seen everything, because if even an amateur criminal ain't gonna kick in no dope until they know who in the house. Because you don't know who, especially these days, you don't know who's sleeping in that house. It could be an uncle that don't feel on hard times. He got a 12 gauge right there. Soon as you come in, boom, boom, right? You ain't gonna kick in somebody's door these days and you ain't cased the house. So even an amateur criminal ain't gonna do it, because an amateur criminal gonna be scared of who's in the house. Just like a professional criminal gonna be scared of who in the house too. They gonna share that thing in common as far as breaking in somebody's house or going and kicking in somebody's door. You gonna be scared of who's in that house. You ain't gonna know. And you ain't gonna know if they armed or whatever. So for somebody to kick in the door with two dudes doing it, they had to already been in the house, which means my brother let them in, and the reason why he probably let them in was weed, to buy some weed. They bought some weed. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it was. That's what it was. That's my theory. You know what I'm saying? Because otherwise, it really don't make sense. And I know for sure that my stepbrother was gay, right? So he might have solicited them too, right? He might have tried to holler at them, and they found that to be weakness, cause he might have did, cause they were 18, 19. Think about it. They young. I think he might have hollered at them, and but he also let them in. He still let them in. Either way it go. It wasn't just cause they were gay that they kicked in the door. He let them in, and they seen the house and everything. That's what I think. And he came back and killed them early in the morning. And that just happened last year. So for me, how that affected me was I am more fierce with my enemies more than ever before. More than ever. Which is common sense. You know what I'm saying? You lost your brother. How you gonna feel about your enemies? Like you ain't playing no games. You ain't going out like that. That's how you gonna feel. Now see, that's gonna produce more juice for me. And people won't know where it's coming from because they stupid. They think they know everything. So that's why you have to explain yourself. You know what I'm saying? You lost your brother, you gonna go harder out here as far as these enemies, and whoever they are, whether it's America and the collective America, I'm going harder. I lost my brother last year. Listen, what you think I'm gonna do? Play with my enemies? No, I'm not playing. That's what I'm saying. Now you ain't going through no real stuff. That's what I'm saying. Clowns ain't going through nothing. And they'll think you playing games. They'll think, cause they fake. You can't see usually a real person if you fake yourself. You gonna think they you. Just like a real person make a mistake of taking everybody seriously. That's what we do. As a real one, how many times you took the wrong person seriously? Cause you see them as yourself. If you fake, you see people as yourself. That's why you think you waiting to see them be like you. If you're real, you're gonna hear it. You're gonna hear the same realness that's in you in that person. You're gonna hear it. That's how you know. That's how you're gonna know if somebody's real. You're gonna hear yourself. And he started talking about life and things and that pertains to life, and you can see yourself responding the same way. Like when I tell you lost your brother, I lost my brother, you gonna say, yeah, I would be going hard on these gang stalkers too. I wouldn't be playing no games with these lames, these females in my politics either. You just lost your brother. So what? So you're gonna be more triggered and be more dangerous. You're gonna be more triggered easily to do something to somebody, and see people don't know where it's coming from because you don't know a person. So now you know, okay, he lost his brother. I can see why. Now he ain't playing with nobody. Boom. Okay? Now it makes sense. Now you see his real juice based on real things that happen. That part. Now, they ain't going through nothing. They ain't going through nothing. That's why they ain't got no juice. They ain't active in the streets. That's why they ain't got no juice. They ain't losing nobody. They ain't got no casualties. That's why they ain't got no juice. All that stuff produce juice. You lose family, you start tripping. Okay? You're more defensive. You think about, I ain't gonna be in that situation. That ain't gonna be me. That's how it affected me. I'm going harder. I'm not playing any games with people, bro. That's it, you know? Now, you know, if you ain't been through nothing, you ain't lose no family, you ain't got no casualties on your side, you ain't got nobody that you lost, even throughout life, you know, you ain't really lost nobody, and you don't know what, you know, you don't really know how it is to lose life. Or even to lose in general. You just now realizing how it is to lose. You know? That's why, like, man, I don't have any mercy. And you could think I'm a bad person. You could think whatever you want to think. You could think I'm not a Christian. I can show you in the Bible where God doesn't always have mercy. And see, what they thought is they wouldn't have to answer to me. They wouldn't have to answer for this situation. And now they do. And now, what response do you expect? No mercy. That's what you expect. Come on. You expect no mercy, man. So it ain't no need to even, it ain't even no need to have that conversation. I want my money, and if I don't get it, hey, listen, I'm willing to stay in my position until the very end. And that's that. I'm not going to change. Because I know I deserve a bag off this. That's it. If I don't get it, I'm going to stay in the same position. That's that. See, you was a clown and I wasn't. America, these gang stalkers, you was a clown and I wasn't, buddy. I got real stories. I can tell you real situations. I can tell you real things. And maybe that's what you're jealous off of. So now we figure out you're just jealous of people with real credibility. You just jealous of people who got real stories and you ain't got none. And it could be that corny and that petty. You know what I'm saying? I don't have any patience for people like that. I don't have any tolerance is the better term. Like I said, I haven't been drinking. I haven't been smoking. I haven't been smoking weed. And that's what I'm more focused on than anything else right now. Because, see, with fighting this war, I'm going to be more effective with no smoking, no weed, no alcohol. I'm going to be more effective in my fasting and when I give offerings, if I'm clean, totally clean. So that's why I'm focused on my sobriety more than ever before. I'm not trying to get back into smoking no weed or smoking no cigarettes or nothing. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So this is the real me, you know? Like I said, you know, my music been heard by Mobb Deep, you know what I'm saying? So that's for all New York, you know what I'm saying? That's what's gonna always make me good in New York, you know what I'm saying? Like, I tell somebody that, like, wow, that's crazy, you know? But you know, I just gotta avoid the suckers, man. You know, I just gotta avoid the suckers. I gotta keep my nose clean. You know what I'm saying? I'm sober. I got a good grip on my sobriety where I'm not going back to smoking. I'm not going back to smoking weed. And I'm in a good place, you know. What I don't need is suckers. A sucker is always going to be lurking. And listen, I don't care about you. I don't care about what you talk about. You know what I'm saying? I talk about real life. I go through real stuff. For you to try to see me with witchcraft is listen, all you're going to do with somebody that got a mentality to hurt and kill, all you're going to do is stimulate me to hurt you. That's all you're going to do with witchcraft. See, if you use it on the wrong people, it can backfire and they can hurt you. Come find you and hurt you. You know what I mean? I'm serious. The times that people try to use it on me, they wind up getting a conflict with me. Like as if I found them. You know what I'm saying? And I checked them like that. That's what I mean. So as long as you use that stuff and you don't think I know, in this building, listen, it's gonna be hell for you. I'm telling you right now. From this day forward, what it is, December the 28th, from December the 28th to 2020 in 2025, you think that, listen, you trying to make yourself special by attaching yourself to my life. Because you're a nobody on your own. I got stories on my own, as you can see. You don't have no stories. Nobody famous knows you. They never knew you, right? I can say famous people have thought about me, right? No famous people thought about you, right? As an individual. Not as a group. You're going to tell me who all them people met. I'm talking about you. Nobody knows you, right? People know me. That's the difference, right? Right. Okay? Right. No one knows you. People know me. That's all I'm saying. I can't be compared to them bums. Them bums. I'm saying that's what it is. What you want me to say? You want me to be equal with them and try to make me and them be equal? We can't. I know famous people famous know me and they don't know them. They're nobodies. And that's that. That's why they try so hard to do stuff and fit in and join groups and stuff, because they couldn't do it on their own like me and you. See, I'm competent to where I got known without doing anything. I didn't sell my soul. I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I didn't have to do these strange things to be famous and all of this stuff. And before they even came along, people famous knew who I was. You know? So, man, I don't relate to people that can't get it out the mud for themselves. If you can't get it out the mud for yourself, I don't respect you. You gotta lean on these groups and these people, and that tells me what type of person you are. You're incompetent on your own. On your own, you're incompetent. That's why you gotta join groups. So when I say I'm anti-Freemason or I'm anti-Illuminati, that means I'm also anti-group. That's what it means for me. I'm going to do the opposite of them. I'm going to get mine out the mud by myself. That's anti-Illuminati. Because you're going to get it out the mud without a group, with all these coupons, without joining the club. You know what I'm saying? And that's why me and them two different type of individuals, because I'm going to get mine out the mud. I'm going to go to the studio and make my music, and it winds up in the hands of Mobb Deep. Now you got to kiss butt. Who knows what else you're doing to try to get known in the industry or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have to do all of that. So that's why me and you are definitely two types of different individuals. You know what I'm saying? Which makes me anti-you, anti-Freemason or anti-Illuminati, because I don't have to join a group. I'm a man that got out here on my own and went to California and went way before you came along. You know what I'm saying? Back in 2001, you wasn't there. That's the first time I went to LA, Los Angeles. I went to the West Coast on my own. See, all my respect, everything I get credit for, and as far as what I've done, and what people respect, I did it by myself. That's why I'm anti-Illuminati and anti-Freemason. Them people gotta hop on a group, you know what I'm saying? Hop on another man's lap, you know what I'm saying, to get something. No, I don't have to do that. I don't relate to you, and you don't relate to me, because you don't get yours out the mud. You go join a group and whatever they've been doing for the past 10, 20 years, that's what you're gonna get. You're going to just get the benefits of that. I'm only going to get the benefits of whatever I got out the mud, including my respect. My respect is out the mud. You know how I know? Because they was disrespecting me at first. Now what they doing? I'm getting my respect out the mud. That's what they doing. So what that tell you? once again, I got it out the mud. Cause they wasn't respecting me at first, so how I get respect? I got it out the mud. Sitting here telling you these stories, telling you so you can see all these things you didn't know. You listen to these lames, now you're here, oh man, his music been heard by Mobb Deep. That changes everything, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Your music, Nas Godfather, he heard you spit in Harlem. Took you out for Pete, gave you some slices of pizza and gave you some Lucy cigarettes. Wow. You know what I'm saying? That's me by myself. It wasn't me, him, and some other people. I got good stories like that. So, I can't relate to them guys, some other guys that nothing happened for them on their own. They can't tell you no stories or stuff on their own. They gotta tell you they joined the group and they trying to be successful with this group of people. I can't relate to that. Because I'm not gonna sit around and wait for somebody else to do something for me. Just even, and how you know that's definitely true in my personality is because even with this spiritual war, I'm not waiting for somebody else to do this. I'm doing it. I'm getting this done. And I'm spending my money to get it done. I'm not waiting for you to beg. I'm not begging you on my YouTube and telling you to send me some money and all of that and everything like these other folks. And I'm not saying they wrong, because you should support people. But you don't hear me, you don't see me sitting up begging and telling people, yo, send me some bread, send me a cash app, whatever. I'm taking my own bread and winning and fighting this spiritual war. That's my personality. I'm not gonna wait for people to sit up and support me. I'm gonna get this done. And now people sitting around speechless because they thought I was doing nothing. They thought it was a joke. Until you see me fasting, I'm not asking everybody else to do it corporate fast with me. You got them kind of Christians, they want people to do a corporate fast. No. I'm gonna get it in myself. You gotta respect it. Everything I'm doing, I do it myself. Okay? That's the difference between you and me. You and the Illuminati and Freemasons, let me tell you the distinguished difference between specifically you and me. I do everything on my own. Everything. That's why me and you could never be friends. We have two different mentalities. It's water and oil. Me and you are water and oil. Because I get mine out the mud, and you might think that is you or it appeals to you, but it's not the way you think. That's not the way you think. That's the way I think. And it might seem good to you, but that's not how you think yourself. How I know that? You join a group to just cut to the chase and become successful. Right. While the rest of us, what we do? We try to wait for a break. We try to wait for something to happen. We hustle and get our respect out the mud. We get everything out the mud. I spend my own money. You know what I'm saying? While everybody do whatever they want to do with their money. All these other people sit back and just waiting for me to do it and waiting on me to do it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I have to watch my attitude a little bit. Because even when I'm fasting, it's like these bastards that think they're over me. like, yeah, I'm glad he fasting again. I'm like, hold up, buddy, I'm not fasting for you. And if I had an arrogant attitude, I would just shut down and not even fast, because it's people that think I'm doing it for them. It's people that think I'm doing it for them or their benefit. I'm not doing it for you. So I have to discipline my mind and ignore these people that think I'm doing anything for them. I'm not doing anything for them. This is me for me. That part. This is me for me at this point. Okay? And I'm not waiting for somebody to do me for me. I'm doing me for me. For me. That's the third me. I'm doing me for me for me. For me. That's the fourth me. So man, why I keep showing this, because this is a weapon. It's not $1 billion, no. But watch what it does as a weapon. That's what I want. Watch what it does. And we already know what it does. You already seen it do what it do. So if you wonder, like, that ain't a lot of, you're a corny person. If you think it ain't a lot of money, it ain't about that. It's about what this does. When it's put in the hands of God. So that's why I'm waving this around. I'm waving this around as a weapon. Okay? That's what's going on. This is not about how much money it is per se, because God is going to multiply this. That's common sense. God is going to do spiritual things out of this. That's common sense that I can't do with this amount of money. That's the whole purpose. Is it's going to do more than what it can do on its own. So you put two and two together. More is going to happen out of this than what it appears to be. What meets the face at face value. It's going to do more than this. What it could do on its own. If that makes sense. Okay, I'm not playing no games. Like I said, I'm doing everything on my own. Fasting, I'm not waiting for anybody to do anything. I'm fasting on my own. I'm on day 3. I'm on day 3 of my fast. You know what I'm saying? This is almost day the finish of day 3. I'm in hours. How many hours? Okay, 4 more hours. Technically 3. 4 more hours and day 3 is accomplished, and I'm gonna have 4 more days left. So I'm basically already through my 7-day fast. This is what it takes. Remind you, military don't do fasting. So I can show you people that are Marines. I can show you people that are Marines that have never fasted this long. So all your little malicious intent, listen, man, we destroying that with death and destruction. I'm pretty sure you know that now, don't you? That's why, how I look at it, evil is an attitude. We gonna destroy you, but I ain't gonna have the same attitude. I'll destroy you, but I won't have the same attitude. I'll use my weapons, but I won't have the same attitude as you. Just like you got good soldiers on the battlefield. They ain't evil. They just go to war. That's it. A soldier just go to war. He ain't got to be evil, but he gonna destroy you. Nevertheless, I don't have to have a certain attitude. Evil to me is just an attitude, because I'm a destroy you. I'm just gonna have a different attitude. You see my point, my philosophy. If you got weapons just like they do, what's the difference? The attitude. I don't care nothing about the attitude. Listen, I got weapons just like you do. And I will destroy you if I have to. And that's physically or spiritually. But I choose to go with spiritually, right? So even though I don't have this malicious attitude, I'm destroying these people. So you can see why I narrowed down evil to just an attitude, because I'm going to do what they trying to do. I'm going to do that. And some. Minus the attitude. So it's just an attitude to me. You got malicious intent. Well, I got intentions of destroying my enemies like I supposed to. And see, that comes full circle to my message. You know, you gotta have an attitude. You gotta destroy your enemies. You gotta have a mindset to destroy your enemies. And I can show you that attitude in the Bible. You just used to, in America, not having to defend yourself because the National Guard was taking care of you and these authorities was taking care of you the whole time. But things done changed. Now you got to get out of your stupor, your slumber, and defend yourself against all these people. And with that being said, obviously, you're going to use your weapons against these same people. So all it is that you've been used to defending yourself in America. That's what it is. Now the time has come where you don't depend on the police, the military, the government, the black people. I don't depend on black people no more. No. I don't depend on them no more. Okay, I'm just getting down from mine like a G, you know what I'm saying? And that's that, you know? If you're a sucker, listen, you're going to get washed up. Because we ain't going to stop until your superiors get my money. If they don't get my money, we ain't going to stop. I'm telling you that now. We ain't going to stop on nobody. You shouldn't have put me in this situation. They put me in this building to see me again. I mean, I don't see why. I already beat you. I beat you so many times it don't even make no sense. So I don't even see why you would even put me in this situation. It's pathetic. It caused more damage. It caused more destruction. And I'm going to keep bringing this. As long as I'm in this building, I'm going to keep bringing you hell on earth. That's what I'm going to do. Because I know this whole building is a setup. So I'm going to bring hell on earth for this whole country. Long as I'm here in this building. Because they put me in this building on purpose. This supposed to be a housing emergency half house waiting for housing, right? Through a housing program. But then you come in here and you see all these witchcraft people and telepaths and they think I'm stupid. Psychological games and all of that. Okay, so then obviously this was a setup from the beginning. Obviously they sent these people here to be positioned against me, right? Okay, so I know that. I'm not stupid. You're not dealing with a dumb black man. Okay? So with that being said, I'm going to utilize this whole building against America, which they going to pay for their position. The whole country is going to pay for the position of this building because I know they had their part in it. They sitting back knowing what's going on or knowing their position against me. See, if you're a high target, they going to put these people against you. They gonna put these people against you, right? And what you do is you curse the whole American country for that position because they're involved, because you're a high target. You're a high-ranking person. Okay, so they gotta put a whole building against you, and it still ain't working. It still ain't working. Okay, I'm not here for people's entertainment. Look at your country. Do it look like I'm entertaining somebody? With my personality and my intellect, you might think this is entertainment. This is not no entertainment. This is explanation. This is an explanation. So, I don't take them seriously. What they're doing now is working for me. You know how? Because long as they got a position of witchcraft in this building against me like this, what we're gonna do is utilize that energy to backfire onto the American community. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. As long as they got that position, I am utilizing it against the American country. Oh, come on, man. You think I'm stupid? I've been in that position. Long as you put something against me, listen, these are losers in here. They don't know me, right? They just going by what someone else told them. They don't know me personally, so I don't care about them personally. But what I'm gonna do is that's why I don't approach them personally unless they play with me, because they're nobodies, you know what I'm saying? But they're put in position against me by the Americans. So who you think I'm gonna make pay for it? I'm gonna make America pay for it. You think I'm stupid, man? Come on. I don't get this reputation being an idiot. So I already know their position, this whole building. Everybody down there in the booth, all witchcraft, divination, mind readers, all wizardry, whatever you want to call it. That's who they all are. All of them. The staff and the resident, these people living in here. Witchcraft, divination, whatever you want to call it. That's what I got to deal with. So that you know. I've already informed other people on the outside, the Russians, on social media, different people. I already let them know what the whole building is. We put a green light on the whole building. I put a green light on the whole building. That means everybody in here, I put a green light on them. Well, why am I play with it? Yes, sir. Everybody in here. Don't let them fool you. They're all enemies. Okay? And they don't think I knew. They ain't think I know any better. Do you think I know any better now? Yeah. I'm fasting against the whole building. I'm fasting against everybody in here. I'm cursing everyone in here. Well, yeah. What you thought I was gonna do? Oh, play a game and go back and forward and play this little cartoon game. Well, I'm not in the mood for games, buddy. Like I told you, I lost my brother last year. You're a fool to put me in this situation. One of these dudes almost found out the hard way, buddy, what I'm all made of. I'm pretty sure you heard about it. He broke in this door, in my door, and put his hand through there. I had 2 weapons waiting for him. And he didn't move one step further, buddy. Like a dog in his tracks. And he turned back around and left. You know why? Listen, you ain't stupid enough to make no move, and I'm standing there posted up with 2 weapons. You ain't gonna make no false moves, buddy. So that's what happened, just in case he told you something else. You know what happened? He walked away trying to save face, talking under his breath. But the truth is, man, you walked away. You backed off. But you approach everybody else. But you ain't, listen, once you seen what the situation was, what you do? You left. You backed off. You bit off more than you could chew. You barked up the wrong tree. Yeah, that's what we call it in the South. You barked up the wrong tree. You barked up the wrong tree, buddy. These little weak dudes in here, you know what I'm saying? I don't even believe that was all real. I think it was against me. I think they staged that anyway. They staged the whole situation. But my part wasn't staged. You seen them weapons? Okay, yeah, that ain't staged, little buddy. We don't care what you doing. My part is not staged, okay? That's all you need to be concerned about. I'm not on these low levels. I'm greater than your superiors that's sitting over here like they sitting back watching a fight. I'm fighting them. Cause I know how these lames are in this country. You sitting back like you some master, buddy. Listen, you playing yourself. I'm beating you and them. I'm greater than all of you. And that's that. So you can sit back and act like you some master being entertained. You a clown, first of all. You a clown. I'm taking down your whole country. Okay, that's what we doing. We taking down your whole country. It ain't nothing you can do. You're just filled with jealousy because you're a nobody. Nobody's ever gonna know you personally. Nobody's ever gonna know your name. No one cares what your name is. That's what it is. But how we gonna handle it is we gonna fast against them and put offerings against them. Everything I do is against these people. Them, this building, this community, and America. New York and America. It's against the whole community. That's how you gotta do it. You don't sit up and play with these people. That's not my personality. That's not my personality. I can't sit up and play with people. I don't know what you thought. After playing games all this time, I finally got you. I finally got you in trouble. That's why I'm fasting and beating these people head in with fasting. That's how you do it. Because all they trying to prove is they on the level of spirituality. They ain't gonna never prove they own with me. You ain't gonna ever prove you're on the same level of spirituality as me. Well, how you not gonna prove that is you don't manifest nothing. Okay, if we don't see nothing in the real world, and all you can do is put me in a room and surround me with idiots, and that's all you can do. That's all anybody can do that. Anybody can put somebody in a room on purpose and surround a whole bunch of people using witchcraft. All of them trying to use witchcraft against one person. That's why they got to make me look like I'm a alien or I'm not human or something. To save face, how is you going to explain to these people that all these people can't beat me? All these people I done been through. How you going to explain it intelligently? That you're not competent enough no matter how many people they use. How you going to explain it? The way to explain it is I'm a prophet of God. It ain't no way you going to get past me. It ain't no way. I'm a prophet, and that's how I got you. Okay? You can't beat a prophet. You could be a witch, a warlock, and now you see. Little goofy people put me in this situation on purpose, and now your country is cursed even more. That's why they want me to go ahead and get out of here. You ain't got no choice. You got to, because if you don't, your country gonna be gone. And you might want to tell them to chill out for the last bit of time that I'm here. You might want to tell them to chill on out. Because I don't value your opinion. We don't care about your opinion anyway. You're not gonna beat me. Nobody in their right mind is gonna think that you can beat me here. And I done pulled your whole card. I know everything you're doing in this building. The whole building. The staff, the tenants, the clients, however you want to put it. They're all witchcraft, wizard people, divination people. What I'm doing is I'm using their position to curse the Americans. I don't care about them. I'm going to use their position. They're nobodies. I'm going to use this position that they have against me. And I'm going to curse the Americans for it. That's what I've been doing. Yeah, oh yeah. I cursed the whole staff, the tenants, the whole building. That's what I'm supposed to do. That's what you expect a spiritual person to do. Come in and know what everybody's doing. I come in and I know everything you're doing. Yeah, you ain't pulling no wool over my eyes. You just don't matter enough. I don't care about you enough. I care about these wars in the Middle East. I care about these real. That's how you know I'm a high-ranking prophet. I'm international at this point. I'm not even national anymore. I'm international. I'm sending money to South America. Okay, I'm sending money to South America. I'm beyond America. I don't care about America. I'm thinking about these wars down in the Caribbean with Venezuela and the Colombians, where I'm sending money to, and the Middle East and Europe. I'm looking at these wars. I don't care about these bums in America no more. I told him, man, it's no game. It's no game. This is where it's at. Okay, we fasting and giving offerings against the Americans. Okay, get it in your head. That's what we doing. That means you gotta change your mentality to like one of the people in the Bible. One of the people in the Bible that had real physical enemies and went to real war. The only difference is we're using spiritual weapons, okay, to attack these witches and warlocks in their position and curse the Americans. I'm gonna fast against all these people. We're gonna utilize this. I'm talking about for where I'm living. I'm gonna utilize everybody in here to curse the Americans, right? Long as they got that position, long as they playing games, the Americans gonna get it. That's who gonna feel it. Their whole family gonna feel it. Oh, come on, man. What you thought? I would sit here and never know? Come on, man. You think I get this reputation not knowing what I'm talking about? They play a game during the holidays, everything. They done played with the microwaves, done played with this atmosphere a million different ways. All I'm gonna do is curse it. It don't matter to me what goes on out there. I don't care what goes on out there. I'm gonna curse America for this position, for this whole position, this corny position. I'm gonna curse the whole country for putting the whole building against me. That's what they did. They used the whole building against me. They can't find one man or one woman on my caliber. All they can do is read minds. They can't manifest nothing though. They can't manifest nothing. That's all I'm saying. So, I mean, how far do we supposed to be amused by mind reading or whatever else little corny little stuff you do? See, I'm somebody that finally comes from the other side that challenges these bastards. Okay? What else can you do? What else can you do? That's all you can do. You can't beat me. And I'm not no abominable snowman, no Bigfoot. I'm a human being. You just played with a prophet, and now you see what God's kingdom is made of, buddy. It ain't no game. You can't play with no Christians, buddy. You out your mind. So long as you play a corny game where you think you can, you're going to continue to lose. You're going to continue. We don't think you bad at all. I've been around people that caught bodies and kill people. I don't care nothing about a witch. A witch is nothing to me. That's stupid. That's somebody who want to be tough. So you decide to be a witch. Man, you're nothing. You're nothing. I've been around real killers that killed people, put people in the graveyard, man. That a witch or a warlock is nothing. I don't care about you. You just got an attitude. You just got an attitude. I don't care about you. I've been around people that kill people. And what you do? You put a curse on people. You try to hex people. Man, stop playing, bro. That's Harry Potter, man. You Harry Potter with a W. You Harry Potter. You Harry Potter, ain't you? Harry Potter. You Harry Potter, ain't you? You Harry Potter. You Harry Potter, ain't you? You Harry Potter. You Harry Potter. Oh, you the Lord of the Rings. You Spiegel. my precious. My precious. For me. You Spiegel, ain't you? Hey, these people walking around here looking like Spiegel. Walk around here looking like the Black Spiegel. That's the Black Spiegel, ain't it? For me. Hey, looking like Spiegel around here. You didn't think I was that coach and know about Spiegel, did you? Looking like Spiegel around here. Look in their eyes, man. Look like Spiegel, bro. For me, my precious. See, that's what I'm saying. I got a great sense of humor, but I'm not playing. But I'm not playing any games, bro. That's just it's what it is. And the beautiful thing about it though, it's like it's part of my design because how hard it had to be, I had to have a great sense of humor to really get through this as smooth as I did. You know, with my sense of humor, man, I just breeze through this so easy, bro. It ain't even funny, man. It ain't funny for them. It's not funny for them. Cause everything you're doing, it's not working. It's not. They try to utilize people's children that you dated. The person you dated, they try to utilize their children in psychological games. Man, ain't nobody think about that, man. We're gonna feed you that like bread and jelly. We're gonna feed everything you're doing like bread and jelly back to you. And when you're ready to die, I'm glad. I'm glad. That's our point. That's what we want. We want you to go to the grave. See, it comes a point, man, where, listen, buddy, you ain't talking to them. You ain't talking to one of them Ned Flanders Christians. One of them Ned Flanders type of Christians. I'm not a Ned Flanders Christian. Okay? I personally don't care about your life anymore. I don't care about your country. I don't care about nobody here. Okay? And you're not going to change that. You know, now, on an individual basis, I salute people on an individual basis. People can see my story and see everything I've been through. Like Mobb Deep hearing my music and everything like that. You know I ain't no chump. Okay, if Mobb Deep heard your music, if somebody famous heard your music, but you got a lot of money, but you eating good, but ain't nobody heard your music. Who you gonna go with? The guy that's been heard by Mobb Deep, by somebody famous, done talk to other famous people. But he in a certain circumstance, but he can get out of that. Or somebody just sitting around acting like a diva, but they ain't never done nothing. Nobody don't know who they are. They sitting around acting like divas and nobody don't even know them. They don't know you. That's all I'm saying. That's fronting to me. Don't New York call that fronting? That's fronting, man. Sitting up here, that's how I see it. You fronting it, act like, you know, you a diva. Are you, what you supposed to be on my level? These people supposed to be on my level? Come on, bro. Nobody knows these people, bro. We don't know them. Nobody knows these people. As an individual, each one, no one knows them. So how is that like me and nobody don't know who they are? Man, come on, man. Shimon. Say it like Michael Jackson. Shimon, man. Shimon. Shimon, bro. You know how Michael Jackson say Shimon. Shimon, bro. Shimon, bro. Nobody knows you, bruh. Come on, man. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? The proof is in the pudding, man. Everybody ain't fake, man. You know how people say everybody ain't real? But everybody ain't fake either, though. Some people real, bro. Like, some people got real stories. Some people will hurt you. Put you in the graveyard, man. Put you right in the graveyard. You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't fake. Everybody's not fake, man. I'm telling you. Take heed, bro. Take heed to that. Everybody's not fake. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I don't go out here assuming anything about anybody. But if you make lame moves, it is what it is. If you out here making lame moves and playing games, hey, I call it how I see it. But just assuming things about me, how they been moving, I take full advantage of that, man. As a militant-minded soldier, I take full advantage of it. You think whatever you think about me, I take full advantage of that. See, that's how you beat millions of Americans. All you gotta do is let them think whatever they think about you and let it be like that. Meanwhile, you're a whole nother competent person in your own world under their radar, and they don't even know what they're playing with. See, that's what happened. This whole time, I just let these people think whatever they want to think. Meanwhile, I kept my head low and just kept under the radar, back and forth, dumping that money in the mailbox. Boom. For the past 3 years, consistent. For the past 3 years, 2023, 2020, we won in 2023. 2023, that's when I won. The war started in the Middle East, all this stuff, mind you, it was a war already with Russia and Ukraine. All this stuff was already going on, man. But officially, 2023, that's when I won. It's been on ever since. I've been putting money in the mailbox. 2024, last year and this year. The past 3 years, this makes the 3rd year, man. It's too late. It's too much been done. I've been sacrificing for 3 years. I'm talking about hundreds of dollars, thousands. Why people think I ain't really got no clothes and stuff? I had thousands of dollars for the past 3 years. I want you to think about this. The most significant money that passed through my hands for the past 3 years. 3 years now. That means I just bought bareness. This is the truth. And I'm not bragging. I give God the glory. I've bought bare necessities, basically. I haven't even bought clothes or shoes. Like, I had someone else that cared about that and bought me some shoes and some clothes or whatever. And then that made me even extend longer without having to do it. And then I went and got clothes from California. That's what I got on now. This is from California. This jacket right here is from California. So, I haven't bought any clothes in the past 3 years. Crazy, right? Like, nothing significant. I haven't bought nothing significant. I've had hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars. I've been dumping it for the past 3 years. If you don't know why I seem like a gray man, like they say gray man, because I don't buy any clothes. I don't buy any shoes. I don't buy stuff that people usually would buy in America. I don't buy that kind of stuff. No jewelry. I could do all of that stuff. I don't buy no gold. I don't put no earrings in my ear. None of that stuff right now. You know what I'm saying? Because for the past 3 years, I just been dumping. And now I realize it. For the past 3 years, it's already done. All that money. I ain't buy no clothes. I ain't buy no shoes. I could have still had some of that stuff. But I did what I had to do. That's why I can't stress enough. You know, I stand on my own. I get my respect out the mud. I get everything out the mud. I pay my dues. No pun intended. I pay my dues, bro. That's how I'm the only one, mostly, man, that really got his head on totally straight. Like, about America being the enemy. You know what I'm saying? Now you kind of seeing it because all the stuff they doing in the Caribbean, you kind of seeing that they are the enemy. It's you starting to see it, what I'm talking about. If you don't know how this is, you can't see it, right? If you can't see it, I'm going to show you, it's through the Caribbean. Look at that stuff. That's unauthorized, man. That's no good. That's no good. That's not normal. That's what I'm trying to show you. That's not normal. That's not normal for even catching drug dealers by any stretch of the imagination. You can't Jedi mind trick me. That's not normal. That's a type of evil. You know what I'm saying? And it proves what I'm telling you. They the enemy. The Americans are the enemy. I'm telling you. Everybody turning on them too. People went to the UN and they starting to turn on these people. They starting to turn on them. It's over. You know what I'm saying? You're going to see all these buildings and all this stuff vacant. You're going to see it. Watch. Empty. All of it. That's the next step. That's what's about to happen. Next step, you're going to see all these buildings, all this stuff just empty. Emptied out. It's not much time. I'm glad too. Because if we can't live, why should they live? That's how I see it. God made the world for his people. People say we all God's children. No, we not. We all God's creation. But if you don't obey God, you're not his child. No, you're not. We all God's children. We all God's creation, but not all God's children. It's a big difference. People sit up and say, oh, we all God's children. No, we ain't. We're all God's creation. If you don't obey God, how are you his child? You his creation. Big difference. People talking about, oh, we all God's children. How we all God's children? Stop playing games. We all God's children, huh? Man, you tripping. You telling me people doing all that stuff, they God's children? Man, stop playing, bro. Bugged out, bruh. That's what I'm saying. Bugged out. They bugged out, man. They ain't God's children, man. They God's creation. See, people be taking stuff that I be saying, you know what I'm saying? I'm serious, man. I was the first person really saying that, man. Then I heard other preachers talking about that. People be taking sound bites from preachers, just like some of these artists be taking songs from some of these artists that ain't known. That happened to preachers too. Preachers ain't know how somebody taking stuff you said. It's okay though, I don't care. I don't mind. Because God gonna get the glory. That's all I care about. Ultimately. And God gonna give me honor for what I've done. No matter if people don't try to give it to me, I'm gonna get it anyway. And I heard one preacher talking about, what you got against what I don't know what people got against America. You don't know what people got against America. They gang stalking. That's what they doing. They gang stalking Christians. How you gonna say you don't know what we got against America? You're not in vogue. You out of touch. You're out of touch. You don't know what's going on. You ain't got your ear to the streets. You ain't got your ear to the streets. These people are gang stalking out here. What you mean what we got against America? That's what we got against America. They gang stalking and playing with people. That's exactly what they allowing it. Okay? And then they'll still not talk about it. They're gonna talk about something else. Even though they still like for example, later, that same preacher will see what's going on, but then they gonna talk about other stuff. That's what I'm saying, man. That's why, like, they'll see what's going on. Oh, they don't know what you got against America, but they realize it. They starting to realize it. I know they do. Oh yeah, you starting to realize it, but you don't come back and address it, and you don't come back and address it and correct yourself about what people see about America and what they got against America. You ain't correct yourself yet, have you? That's what I'm talking about, buddy. That's what I'm talking about. See, I'm at the level where I correct preachers, and I don't care who they are. Because if you can't see what's going on here against Christians, and you ain't got your ear to the streets, and you just in this ministry world that can be like Disney World, and you in the ministry world like Disney World, and you ain't really listening to these everyday Christians on YouTube, it's no excuse. You can go and look on YouTube and see all that we talk about. You know how you gonna find it out? You look up Christian messages on gang stalking, Christian messages on monitoring spirits, Christian messages on flying monkeys. And you will find videos for years and years ago, and you'll get all the way up to date. Maybe you want to start back in the end, like maybe 5 years ago, right? Start about 5 years ago. Then you come all the way up to the present time, and you're gonna see this whole timeline of Christians, specifically Christians, being gang stalked in America. You're gonna see all these messages with all these Christians, all of them talking about it, all of them going through it. And we're separated from Disneyland ministry. Over there, they get manipulated by the same people, by Freemasons, Illuminati. They gonna manipulate these famous preachers. That's what it is. They got to. They got to do that. Cause for one thing, you gonna start speaking out. You gonna start talking about this stuff, and they don't want you to do that. So what they gonna do? Seduce you concerning America, where you won't say nothing. You ain't gonna halfway say nothing, man. That's what I'm saying. So you gotta be Pacific. You gotta talk about it for how it is. Gang stalking. All these famous preachers ain't talking about it. So what happened with the real body of Christ in America? If you ain't really going to no big church or no non-denominational church, you just kind of lean towards amateur, or what you might say amateur ministry, or ministries on YouTube, which some people say they ain't qualified. They ain't certified ministries or ministers or whatever. I'll tell you one thing. They in touch with this real spiritual war that's going on. They got PhDs in that. They ordained as a spiritual warrior. We ordained as spiritual warriors, buddy. And that's facts. Fasting on the front line, doing all this stuff on the front line. While Disneyland ministry is just sitting back watching us do what we do, right? I mean, you know. I just go ahead and go with amateur ministry. I don't watch any really no mainstream ministries, because they think they gonna block it out by talking about other stuff. That's not how you do it. You address it with the anointing. You address gang stalking with revelation knowledge. You address gang stalking under the presence of God. And you rebuke it. And you make other preachers aware of it. So, so the real body of Christ, man, we don't even deal with these churches anymore because I think they've been infiltrated and we don't trust them. I don't really trust them. I go with amateur ministries or outside the country. I go with other countries, ministries outside the country because I know they're not Americanized. The devil ain't come in and made them all Americanized and all of that and all these politics over here where, they're a part of this wicked country or wicked country like America. They not a part of nothing like this as a Christian in another country. They abstain from the carnality in their country. They know better as a real Christian in other countries. Over here, everyone's confused about abstaining from the American culture. Okay? So, like I said, we're going to be fasting and giving offerings against America. That's where it's at, buddy. That's where it's at. Whether people like it or not, that's where it's at. I didn't ask for it to be this way. What you need to realize is, I'm not the only one. And this is not a biased message. I didn't ask for it to be this way. They use their free will as Americans to play with God's people to see what happens. And they seen what happened. And now, listen, like they say on the internet, they messed around and found out. You know what I'm saying? They messed around and found out. Basically. Okay? And so like the real body of Christ, we kind of gathering on our own on YouTube and everything like that. And we don't really, it's some ministries I still respect that's kind of mainstream, but I don't really tune into the messages because the messages are not in line with this spiritual war that's going on. You know what I'm saying? So I can respect the messages, but it's not going to feed me really in this time, because this situation is consistent. That's what they don't understand. You can't wish it away or kind of ignore it. You got to fight through it. Okay, so then what's going to feed you in this season is people that's feeding you tactics to fight through this. That's what's going to encourage you and empower you. And if you're dealing with a consistent war that the Christians have never dealt with before in America, are you gonna want to hear these messages that's in the opposite direction? It's not really a counter. It's like they're not addressing the elephant in the room. That's what it's like to me. It's an elephant in the room, and it's like, how can you get up there and minister and not address this? It's like, that's why I don't trust people. Because like, that means either you're a part of them or you have been seduced or silenced. But whatever the case, I'm going to be more fed by someone that is aware of this stuff. That's going to empower me. They give me scriptures on it. It's scriptures on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, the main thing I talk about is God's people going to war against human beings. Because people tell you don't fight against flesh and blood. Well, explain all the wars in the Old Testament. That was flesh and blood. Explain God's people. You see what I'm talking about? This is also what made me separate from mainstream Christianity in America, because explain that. Explain all the wars in the Bible. Because God is holy, right? So God can't be part of nothing unclean. So if God allowed wars in the Old Testament, God is holy. he can't be a part of something unclean at all, at any time, in any place and time. So if God commanded his people to go to war over and over again in the Old Testament, how could God have done it if it's an unclean, if war is a sin? If war is a sin, then how could God command his people in the Old Testament to go to war? God is holy at all times, whether it's the Old Testament or the New Testament. That ain't a factor. That's not a factor whether it's the Old Testament or New Testament. What we're looking at is God is holy at all times, right? The Bible says God is the same today, yesterday, and forever, right? Okay, so God is holy in the Old Testament, right? Okay, so then explain all the countless wars. If fighting flesh and blood is wrong, right? Explain all the wars in the Old Testament where God commanded his people to go to war and told them what they would do, how they would win and everything. Explain it. Explain it intelligently that we don't fight against flesh and blood, but it's a million battles in the Bible. I'm just trying to understand, what is your logic? How are you reasoning when you could sit in my face and say we don't fight against flesh and blood? That's a ghetto interpretation of the Bible. It really is. And you know how I know? Because you can go right to the Old Testament and see countless wars over and over again. And so how could you, reading the same Bible, how could you ignore that? How could that not register to you? That's what I'm talking about, man. And what I'm talking about is so easy to see. It ain't even like I'm saying something deep. I'm just pointing out the obvious. I'm pointing out the obvious. Well, it doesn't seem obvious to them. Do it. It doesn't seem obvious to them. Well, if it did, well, why would you say and this is the exact thing they say. The scripture actually says we wrestle not against flesh and blood. But you will find people say we fight not against flesh and blood. It don't say that. It doesn't say that. You will more times than not hear people say we fight not against flesh and blood. They don't always say we wrestle not against flesh and blood. But the bottom line is this. I don't even have to look at that scripture. All I got to show you is this wars in the Bible. That's it. That's all I got to show you. I don't even got to break down that scripture. All I got to do is show you wars in the Bible, and your interpretation is dwarfed instantaneously. Because it's too many wars in the Bible for you to think somebody like me that's well read and aware of the Bible is going to take you seriously. If you say we don't fight against flesh and blood, right? But then it's a million wars in the Bible where God's people killed human beings. And that's all I'm saying, bro. That's all I'm saying. So see, once again, man, if you lack knowledge, God says you will be destroyed for a lack of knowledge. You know how you get destroyed for a lack of knowledge? Talking about we don't fight against human beings and flesh, and it's all in the Bible. It's all in the Bible. And so what you become? A martyr. When you could have been with us. But you became a martyr thinking that, oh, we don't fight against human beings. You don't? Oh, you don't. Well, you don't. God's people do. I can show you in the Bible. You don't. So you could say you don't fight against flesh and blood, or we don't, or you over there don't. But the word of God does. in the sense of real wars against real human beings. I'm just being 100 with you. See, the truth is, you was just not used to, you're not used to defending yourself. You're used to the National Guard defending you. This is what it is. You used to the police defending you. You used to the government, the FBI, the CIA defending you. They're no longer doing that. You get it? They're no longer defending you. Okay, so now you are getting a taste of the real world without the protection from the government and the military and the police. That's what it is. They're letting this happen. Oh yeah, come on. They know this. Trump knew about it the first term, his first term. He knew about the gang stalking. He knew about the gang stalking his first term. He knows about it now. And no matter what he does in Nigeria, he's not addressing Christians in America. Okay? And none of these other people are. There's gang stalking right here, but they're not talking about it, right? Not openly, right? So if you're not talking about it openly, what are you doing? Man, listen, man. That's why today I'm getting to work and I ain't playing no games. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. You on okie doke time. Okie doke. You on okie doke time, and I'm not. People want to go to war. That's what we gonna do. But don't tap out. Don't tap out when the pressure is on. When the war is on. Don't come back over here talking to me and trying to be nice. When you feel the pressure, you feel the heat now. It's because I can stay in my position. I ain't gotta act like I'm halfway like these people. I can get all the way in my position where I don't have nothing to do with you. I can walk past you and don't talk to you. See, some people, they so docile. They gotta, even if it's an enemy, they gotta halfway talk to the person. Me, I have a gift where, listen, if we're enemies, I don't have to talk to you. I can walk right past you. I don't have to engage you as a person, and I have no problem with it. And guess what? Listen, I'm not gonna feel bad about it at all. And that's the difference between you and I. Some people, this is how you know they soft. When the war's on, they still talking to their enemies. They still acting cordial with their enemies. If I ain't need them for nothing, I wouldn't even say nothing to them. Period. Only time I actually have to talk to them, anytime I do talk to them, it's cause I got to. Other than that, man, I ain't got nothing to say. Being real, what I'm gonna say? What we gonna talk about? That's how you know everybody fake and clowns, bro. That's what I'm saying. Cause like, once the war is on, man, it's nothing else to talk about. That's how I see it. Just don't come crying to me when the war is on. That's all I'm saying. Cause see, I done been through it for years and years. I'm built for this. And if I wasn't before, I am now. That's all you need to worry about. I'm built for it now. You know what I'm saying? I can go through this in another 10, 20 years with no problem, buddy. Cause I already know everything they doing. It ain't getting to me. It's not. See, they rushing to try to see if they can make it get to me. Cause people get scared in America at the end of the year like they gonna die. Cause a lot of people be trying to kill people at the end of the year, right? So they all kind of scared and don't know if they gonna die too. Listen, buddy, you could try to put as much pressure on me to try to take me out before the end of the year and it ain't gonna work, buddy. That's lame. Listen, that's your own fears that you think will work on me, and your own perspective on your own fears that you think will work on me. I'm gonna be right here. 2026, I'm gonna be right here. 2027, If God tarries, I'll be right here. Okay? We got 4 more days of this year. I already done handled my business. My main business for the year has already been handled. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm fasting right now. I'm on point. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing real good. So, we just gotta fast and give offerings against the Americans and put our spirit in that position where your faith is in that position. See, that's why I gotta do. This is just a big study and a big teaching I gotta do. It's the season we in though. Fasting against the Americans and giving against the Americans, where your mind, heart, and soul is focused on them being the enemy, and here it is. You're expecting their defeat, like real enemies, like they're real enemies. You're expecting their defeat. You're expecting their destruction. You're expecting God to bring destruction on these people. See, your spirit got to be in that position. When you give the offering, your spirit can't be like, oh, well, I hope it works out for America. No, you can't be like that, buddy. Your spirituality is not in the right position. You have to be in a posture of faith and expectancy that God is going to destroy these people when you give the offering and when you fast. And see, like I said, this is the hardest task to achieve, is to get everybody's mind, heart, and soul in the right position. This is the hardest task. And we just got to pray for the body of Christ, the true God's true people, so that they get their spirit in the right position to expect defeat to the Americans. It's not about malicious intent. People keep hitting on that. Evil intent, praying against people or whatever. And then I can show you in the Bible once again. I can show you in the Bible where God's people went to war. What you think war is? What you think? When you say evil intent, well, I don't know about evil intentions or wishing bad, but war is war. It's wishing destruction. I tell you that. It's wishing destruction. And when you gotta go to war, you're gonna wish destruction and defeat. Right or wrong. Okay, because that's another way people try to demonize you. Like, well, I ain't wishing bad on people. I'm wishing war. I'm wishing vengeance of the Lord's. I'm wishing vengeance of the Lord on these people. Is that wrong? The Bible says vengeance is the Lord's. Right? Not always forgiveness. That part, that's 7 hours. Not always forgiveness. Vengeance is the Lord's, right? Right. Okay. So at some point, it's not a time of forgiveness. It's a time of vengeance, right? The vengeance is the Lord's. We're expecting God to bring vengeance on these people. That's what we expect. We're expecting God to bring vengeance. See, the reason why they survive and thrive is because of people in ignorance. You sit back and think, well, I don't think evil on somebody. I don't think bad on nobody. Listen, that's all cliche in this situation. The Bible says, suffer not a witch to live. Is that wishing bad? When God says, put a witch to death that practice witchcraft, is that in the context of wishing bad on people to follow that scripture? All the time that God's people went to war, right? Was it them wishing bad on the people they was going to war with? Or they were just going to, you see what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to show you. American Christianity many times it's rooted it's like a behavioral club. And when you snap out of that and come into and just bring the whole word of God into reality, you shake yourself. You shake yourself, right? And you realize, oh, okay. This is a behavioral club, right? Where we're just on our best behavior. But we're not bringing the word of God into reality, where it's time to fight and go to war. And that's what I'm doing. So, and listen, man, I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna call this whole position that they got clown work. It's clowns. Even right now, them sitting right there thinking they doing something to me. It's clown work. It ain't gonna work. Cause I'm gonna stay in reality. Which means anything come my way, listen, what you think I'm gonna do? I'm gonna defend myself. So the bottom line is, I'm gonna stay in reality and be good in reality. Okay, and that's that. Why you think about trying to catch somebody's mind psychologically with children and all kind of retarded stuff? You know what I'm thinking about? Guess what I'm actually thinking about? You know what I'm thinking about? The war. The war against you. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about the war against the Americans. And it's a spiritual war. Okay? It's a spiritual war. And the reason why they're getting an upper hand on most of us Christians is because you haven't put your head on straight. You ain't got your head on straight. You halfway trying to help these people. You halfway in alliance with them. And you have not totally put your mind in the right perspective and put your faith in the right perspective. I believe this it takes this. You got to put your spirit in the right perspective, in the right position to expect them to be defeated. That's a whole different world. That's 180. You done turned your back on them, and now you done a 180-degree turn, right? Where now you're expecting God to destroy these people. That's not evil intention. That's not bad intention. That's a war position that I can show you that's in the Bible. That's how I need to be said. That's 7 out. Yeah, it's in the Bible. That's why they can't beat me. Because I'm not destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Whether it's putting money in God's kingdom, having this money, and putting it in God's kingdom, and showing people money, listen, you got to have it. You could be religious about it or not. You have to have this in the real world. So you could either be religious or you could be spiritual. Okay? Where you know, you use it as a tool. Right? And the best investment you can make with money, see, if you wasn't religious, you would know this. If you were spiritual, you would know the best investment with money is in God's kingdom, in the church. Because that's going to come back in spirituality. This is going to come back to me in spiritual war against the enemies of America. This is how it's going to come back. And listen, everyone's anticipating it to happen. Everybody wants it to happen. Everybody wants it to happen. Because see, people start to realize all the things they doing in the world. All I'm waiting for It's for the other half of it. And once I get the other half of this, and I pay my little phone bill, listen, this is going on out. This is going on out to South America. This is where this is going. This is going to South America. See, they don't even know. I ain't even told them. They're going to get a good surprise. You know? See, it's about giving to God's work too. It brings us joy and happiness to help God's work and to help His word be preached. That's the foundation. To help the people, to help the community. That's the foundation. See, that's having the right posture in your heart. And see, if you listen to me long enough, you would have knew that. If you listen to me carefully enough, you would have knew that. I give these offerings foundationally to help do the work of the kingdom of God, to support God's work. And it produces joy and happiness for us to support God's work, to support the word of God being preached unto salvation for the lost and for edification of the body of Christ. So, you know, that's where it's at, man. You know, we gonna keep coming back on this, man. I'm gonna keep coming back on it, keep talking about it, man. Praise God. We keep our spirit in the posture of faith that God is going to destroy our enemies. Vengeance is the Lord's. That's what the Bible says. So you have an expectancy that God will bring His vengeance. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to play no games with these people.